This is the D6 generation with your hosts, Craig Gallant.
No, cut that. Keep that. Someday it's going to be worth something.
Russ Wakeland.
You put me in an ATST with frickin' Wookiees attacking me and whatnot?
Now you're talking. And the GenCon mob in the third chair. Woohoo! With contributions from Total Fangirl.
Vampires do not sparkle.
And our loyal listeners.
Are you crazy? That's like 400 hours of gamer nonsense.
Welcome to another edition of Rapid Fire, the roundtable discussion of all things gaming, coming at the speed of faster than a man cosplaying an angry vegetable in a very crowded vendor hall, holding up a cell phone, recording his progress poorly while he walks. Today's... Did anybody get stuck behind that? Because that was really annoying. Today's edition is brought to you by all of our fine friends over at Patreon. Check it out at patreon.com. And everyone who has joined us today for our Play-by Mob event at GenCon 2015. Nicely done. I'm Geekly McNerdigan, your host. Today our panelists are Russ, Crowd Whisperer Wakeland.
What?
Total Fangirl Nicole, No Way Will Call Wakeland, and a very special guest, the GenCon Mellifluously Melodious Mob. Melodious was the best I could do, and clearly not the right word.
Right.
Fresh off their first day of the best 4 days in gaming, let's begin. Issue number 1. Pet peeves are horrible and often tell you just about as much about the person talking about them as they do about the people who are annoying, frustrating, or otherwise upsetting that person. However, we all have them, and sometimes we just can't help but share. Question. Today, as the riotous mob flooded through the exhibition hall in wonderful downtown Indianapolis, Indiana, what was my most often triggered pet peeve? Regimented Russ.
Scared of large crowds.
You weren't supposed to tell anybody that. Nicety Nicole.
People with overly large backpacks smacking you in the face.
That was 2010. Upwardly Mobile Mob.
The smell of Sunday on Thursday was out.
There was a distinct odor in several different parts of the hall. Yes. No, this year, my new pet peeve, because I've never noticed it before, is people literally walking around with their cell phones on, like recording their... Did you do that?
Was that you?
Or are you agreeing with me? Oh, well done. Yes, it was cell phones indeed. Nice. Ugh, blah, which makes you all wrong! Generally, I don't give the people who are wrong the right to respond. So
Never.
That's one of the many benefits of Play-by Mob. Issue number 2. Everyone has their favorite zombie games, and even today, after years of inundation with zombie drama, we're still looking for that great zombie skirmish game. Some of us have the terrain, we have the models, we're just waiting for that great chance to bust it all out and get ready to play. Be ready to play. It's live, folks. Question. If a priest survivor is trapped on an overturned RV in an intersection with zombies closing in on all sides, what would be his preferred way of dealing with the situation? Dead Moon Rising Russ.
Pray.
Netherworld Nicole.
Stab in the head with a crucifix.
The Last Day on Mars Mob. Nunchucks? Nunchuck. What's that? Throw a child.
Wow.
Wrong on so many levels.
Crowd likes it.
I'm a father. I don't know about you, but this particular priest was comfortable with the knowledge that once you're dead, what came back wasn't really alive, so you don't have to pray. So he shot them until he ran out of bullets, and he jumped off from the RV onto an abandoned SUV, kicked another one in the head as it grabbed him, and then ran off into the night, or at least that's how the demo went.
Right.
It was a very well-run demo, and I won. Thank you very much.
Nice.
Or I should say, it was a very well-run demo, so I won. Issue number 3. Family Feud is an American television game show created by Mark Goodson where two families compete to name the most popular responses to survey questions in order to win cash and prizes. Or it's a game where one mob divided into 4 equally parts scream at each other for the same general purpose. Well, not cash, though, unless Russ knows something I don't know.
Okay.
Question. Family Feud has known 6 hosts in the full run of its lifetime so far, with, of course, the inestimable Steve Harvey currently fulfilling that role. It has, in that time frame, had more announcers. Who is the current announcer of the Family Feud? Richard Dawson Russ.
I don't know.
Richard Karn Nicole.
Tim the Toolman Taylor's assistant guy.
Al.
If it was
Ow.
true, I would give it to you, but no. Wink Martindale Mob. Wink Martindale.
Alive or dead?
Wrong! Joey Fatone, the hardest working member of the old boy band NSYNC, who is not Justin Timberlake. Which makes you all wrong. And Ross didn't even answer. That's pathetic. Issue number 4. Although GenCon is great in so many ways, there's no denying that the massive success it has been enjoying, including year after year setting attendance records, comes with some offsetting disadvantages as well. Further, there is no denying that standing in lines is probably at the top of that list. Question: what, objectively, clearly there's only one right answer, was the most frustrating and annoying line of the entire con today? Thursday, July 30th, 2015, the first day of GenCon. Restroom Russ.
Waiting at Catalyst Game Labs for cat bug dice.
Legendary Encounters Nicole.
The line to get my badge to get in.
Magic the Gathering Mob. I think I heard several correct answers. Easily, without a doubt, the worst line so far was right around the Asmodee booth, winding all around the booth at 10:10 a.m., remembering listeners at home that the hall opened at 10 o'clock in the morning, when the entire crowd was informed that the game Mysterium had sold out of its 100 copies less than 10 minutes before starting, and there would only be 100 copies tomorrow and 100 copies on Saturday. They didn't tell you until you formed the entire line.
Ouch.
It was awesome. That's it for now. Thanks for listening, and good night.
This episode of the D6 Generation is brought to you by Lone Wolf Development. Take your game to the next level.
And by Geek Nation Tours. Rise up and join the Geek Nation, touring the world at geeknationtours.com.
And by Audible. Try the service, get a free book, and support the show. All by visiting audibletrial.com/D6G.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey! And welcome to episode 172.
172, the GenCon Live Play-by-Mob Edition 2015.
That's right. I'm Russ Wakeland.
I'm Craig Alon.
I'm Nicole Wakeland.
And this is the GenCon Mob. Woo-hoo. Nice. And we're here today to talk about, well, GenCon.
That's right.
And then we're going to, of course, play like a mob. But first,
Not to be confused with like a boss.
we have a little bit of business to take care of.
We
Two
do.
things. First, we should thank all of our fine friends over at Patreon.
Who made pretty much everything that's happening right
Yes.
now possible.
All this crazy equipment we have here, the wireless mics, everything else, that's all thanks to our folks at Patreon. So we really, really appreciate that. It's a big help. And also, there's a giant dice tower contest launching today
Yes, indeed.
in combination with GenCon. So you get a chance to win a $50 gift certificate from each Dice Tower podcast. And then you get in a drawing for, I think it's a $200 gift certificate as well. That's right. So what you need to do, though,
It's
is
a lot more than that.
or $500?
I believe it's up to 1,000.
Is it 1,000 now?
It's
Last time I talked to Tom, it was $500.
$1,000 gift
What the-
certificate.
It's even better than that. So
$200. We will be keeping the other.
yes, they're on to our
Thank you
plan,
for that
Craig.
too.
So here's what you do to enter this thing. Now, it's not just the folks here in the mob. It's any listener to the show.
Listeners at home.
The tricky bit is, though, we have to get all the entries and the winners back to Tom by the end of August.
Right.
Hey, sorry to interrupt, guys. It's me just making a quick edit in post-production. Well, there was some confusion about the Dice Tower podcast contest, and so I wanted to clear that up and make sure we got it absolutely right. Okay, number one, the very first thing is, yes, one winner from each of the Dice Tower Network podcasts that are participating in this will be chosen at random to win a $50 gift certificate from Cool Stuff Inc. So that's pretty awesome. And then of those winners, which is like less than 10, probably like 6 or 7 or 8 people, of those winners, Tom will then pick one random person on September 1st to win a $500 gift certificate from Cool Stuff Inc. So your grand total will be $550 is if I do my math right there. So that's very, very exciting. Now, here's the complicated bit. Due to eddies in the space-time continuum, this episode is just going up now, and Tom now is the last week of August, and Tom needs these entries in his grubby little mitts by no later than August 31st. So we're going to pick our winner from our entrance on August 31st. That person gets $50 gift certificate, Cool Stuff Inc., and then we'll give that winner to Tom, and he's going to draw from that pool to see who wins the $500. So here's how you enter. We enter these really, really fast. So here's what you do. Listen to the rules and then immediately enter. Pause the show, enter it, then come back to listen to the rest because you don't have much time. It's a Twitter-based contest. Here's what you do. Go ahead and tweet the following. You're going to want to tweet the hashtag, so hashtag D6G Pick Me, all one word, and then put in the game you would buy if you win this, and then put in at the D6 Generation, and then at Cool Stuff Inc., and then at the Dice Tower. So that sounds really, really complicated, but it's actually very short. So here's an example. Let's say you really wanted to win Imperial Assault. You could say, hashtag D6G Pick Me, Imperial Assault, at the D6 Generation, at Cool Stuff Inc., at the Dice Tower. Make sense? Or let's say you wanted to win Mysterium. You could put in hashtag the D6G Pick Me, at the D6 Generation, Mysterium, at Cool Stuff Inc. Doesn't matter what order you do it in as long as all the words are in there. So when I search for hashtag D6G Pick Me, I see you in there with all the stuff. Now, putting more than one tweet up is fun. Doesn't help. One entry per Twitter account. How's that sound, right? So pause the show. Tweet your favorite thing like hashtag D6G Pick Me, Dark Moon, at the D6 Generation, at Cool Stuff Inc., at the Dice Tower, and we'll pick a winner. Not many people are going to do this in time, so there's a really good chance you could win something. So get on out there and do it. Tweet away, my friends. And thanks again to Cool Stuff Inc. and the Dice Tower for this awesome contest.
So there you have it. So thanks to Tom and the great folks at Dice Tower for that awesome prize, and thanks for promoting us on the
it's
Gen Con
awesome.
event. So it's great.
Awesome. It's great to be on the. I had a whole bunch of people coming up to me today, going, "Oh my God, how did you get your logo in the Gen Con book?"
I know. That's
I
thanks
don't
to the
know.
Dice Tower. That's thanks to the Dice Tower.
Tom
So we
at the
appreciate
Dice Tower does it.
That's right. It's awesome. So, Craig, what is it time now for?
It's time now for achievements in gaming. We don't have any echo effect here.
Hey, there it is.
Oh, the sound you heard is on purpose,
Right.
and actually took a great deal of effort for us to produce today.
So we're gonna start walking around here amongst all of you and ask you some questions about what you're liking at Gen Con so far. So up first, and by the way, if you answer a question, you get to go up to these giant tubs of prizes and pick something out. See how this works? So participation.
They're all looking at the little shoe boxes going, tubs? And we're going,
No,
the
the actual
people at
giant-
home think we're really generous.
the giant Home Depot boxes. So all right. So who would like to tell us one of the board games or RPGs they're seeing at Gen Con, the hotness they're
I got
excited
it.
about?
Nathaniel Churgan, Israel, and I saw 3D Settlers of Catan, which was pretty cool, and a bunch of just giant games, just like regular board games, but the sizes were like bigger than me.
Like the Kings of Tokyo has theirs, and Flick 'em Up has theirs, the big, bigger than life board games.
Yeah, and Settlers of Catan, and the Settlers of Catan that's based around Star Trek, and all kinds of cool things.
Awesome. Cool. Now go ahead and get yourself a prize. One of those boxes is mostly board games, and one of them is mostly dive right in minis games. Go ahead.
My name's Eric Strack. I'm from Wilmette, Illinois. And one of my favorite things, I play tested Ashes from Plaid Hat Games, and it was a lot of fun.
Oh, nice. That's the new hotness from them, right?
That is
Yeah.
the new hotness.
It was a lot of fun.
It's about phoenixes, right?
Yep.
Nice.
Oh, they're Phoenix born. That's
So what's cool about it? What makes it awesome?
I just really like the mechanics, and the artwork is really, really amazing.
Fantastic.
Tied
Thank
it
you.
all together.
Awesome. Come on down and get a prize. Who else wants to have something they've seen?
Okay, if I could just work my way through here.
Hi, I'm Genevieve Morgan. I'm from O'Fallon, Illinois, and we played the Medieval Academy, and I really liked it because my mom was like pretty much hogging the princess, so she was getting it on.
And who makes Medieval Academy? Do you know?
Yellow.
Yellow, and you liked it? Not just because your mom was hogging the princess?
Well, it was a little complicated, but I think I like it.
We understand. Okay, cool. Go ahead and get yourself a prize. Dead air.
Hello, my name is Don King. I'm from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. And one of my favorite things has actually not been a game. It's been the people. I have found that the people have been extremely polite. There has been no rudeness that I've encountered, and everything's been going very smoothly so far. I haven't seen a single fist fight, so it's all good.
Nice.
Very good.
Come on down and get a prize.
My name is Kelly Caldon from North Carolina, and the new Game of Thrones Living Card Game 2.0 looks really good. And Tail Feathers from Plaid Hat Games, I know they just got the models out that look great. And then a little game called Cthulhu Vault that I just found at the Upper Deck booth. Production values just look amazing on it.
Great. It comes in a little metal tin that looks very cool.
Very cool.
Very nice. Thank you. Go get yourself a prize.
All right, Nicole's got someone in the back there.
Hi, my name's Sydney Engelstein. I'm from New Jersey.
Wait a minute, we know her.
Wait, whoa. If you've actually been in a third chair, I don't know. Are we going to allow this?
All right, fine.
But you were talking about boats, and I wasn't sure what was going on.
Oh, well, okay.
This isn't exactly new, but I went out of my way to try the Malifaux role-playing game.
Ooh, yeah.
And it was just super cool. Every character gets 5 lines of a prophecy, and the entire game is based around the Fate Master, which is their name for a DM, like making the prophecy come true in interesting and obscure ways, and it's just super thematic. And it's beautiful, and I got the coolest prophecy. I'm going to start a sinister revolution. I'm so excited.
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome. Come on down and get a prize, Sydney.
For those of you who are towards the front of the room, first of all, Ross Watson, sitting amongst us, wrote that and is back here congratulating himself, and I think I saw a tear. He was very, very, very excited.
Oh, he's getting a hug from Sydney. Oh, what a moment.
Oh.
What a moment. That was awesome.
Hi, I'm Dave from Uppsala, Sweden. What I've seen today and before that, it's been lots of small games that are coming out, lots of micro games, inexpensive games. And the two that have really struck me, there's one from Z-Man Games called Lords of Scotland, which is just insane amounts of fun, which is all about Scotsmen fighting and killing each other because we're good at that. And the one I saw and I tried is Friends of the D6 Generation Smirk and Dagger games.
Oh, yes.
Lovely new game based on Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven, Nevermore, which is insane amounts of fun.
Thank you. Go ahead and get yourself a prize.
Nice.
Anybody in the back?
I'm Jimmy Glover from Little Rock, Arkansas, and I got the Titan's Grave books from Will Wheaton's Titan's Grave RPG, and I've looked over them, and both books just seem amazing. I'm loving the world building and the differenceness in the dice and such.
Nice. Very cool.
Cool. Get yourself a prize.
Hi,
we'll take two more on this topic, and then Craig and I will give our thoughts, and then we'll move on to the miniature side. Go ahead.
I'm John Beckett-Schreiber from a previous home of GenCon, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And I got to play the next game from the guy who wrote Tragedy Looper called Code of Nine.
Yep.
And it was impressive. At Z-Man Game Booths, the woman who taught us how to play, she got us up and running in 30 minutes for a fun little worker placement game with a little bit of backstabbing involved.
Nice.
So it's definitely worth checking out.
Very
cool. Thank you. And go up and get a prize.
Very cool. One more on this topic.
I'm Jonathan Lundberg from St. Paul, Minnesota, and I actually have two really great games. I got to play Mysterium. Amazing.
Ooh, one of the lucky ones.
One of the lucky ones.
I didn't get to buy it. I got to play it.
Oh.
They had
There's a big difference.
Were you in the mood room? Because there's like a mood room there where they had it like all dark.
It is very disappointing not getting to buy it, but considering that they sold out before you could even buy it, not much you can do about that, But the other one I got to play is, I don't know if you guys have played Damage Report.
Oh, I have not.
It's a real-time co-op game, so there's none of that alpha player problem. Just everyone's trying to frantically stop a spaceship from completely breaking up, and you have to destroy asteroids and stuff. 45 minutes, super fun. Pretty much everyone I've seen play it has lost it.
Nice.
Well, what's not fun about that?
That's right.
Everyone seems to have a blast playing it, though. Yeah.
Awesome.
Sounds awesome. Come on down and get a prize.
All right.
So we'll give. So Craig and I give our thoughts. So Craig, what did you think was awesome from the board game and RPG card game?
Well, I'm gonna walk really quickly. I did a bunch of demos today because normally with this event is on a Friday and we have 2 days to go around and do all kinds of cool stuff. Today, obviously Thursday, so I ran around the demo hall doing lots of demos, and I want to give credit where credit is due. My favorite demo that I did today, and what caused the question in Rapid Fire, was Outbreak, which is a zombie skirmish miniatures game by Radio Dish Dash Publishing and Phalanx Consortium. I can't. If I've got the card in my pocket, I can help you. Otherwise, I cannot. Yes, they do Skirmish Sanguine, which is considered to be one of the greatest modern skirmish war games going right now. And now they've got this zombie game, which was really, really fun, very cinematic. The board is awesome. I tweeted out a couple pictures of the demo. I really was a priest. I really did jump from an RV onto a minivan. I did get it was awesome. So I really enjoyed that. Homeland, the board game. Does anybody here watch the TV show Homeland? Couple people.
You got to applaud. It's an audio medium.
What?
Nice.
Then there's a couple shills out there who are like, anything.
Sure, why not?
Okay. Gale Force 9, to me, did it again with a great thematic licensed game where you're CIA agents, or are you, fighting against just general terrorism in the Middle East. It's not like any sort of specific, but again, all the characters from the TV show come up. You don't have to know anything. I didn't watch season 1 or 2. I only watched I'm halfway through season 3. But I loved the game. It was a lot of fun. We did that wrestling game, Russ and I, this morning.
Yeah, Showdown.
Showdown.
Yeah. Is that it?
Superstar Showdown.
Oh, my bad.
That's why I have notes. That was fun. And Flick 'em Up by Pretzel Games, which I think we've already discussed. Oh, that was out in the hallway. It's really cool. Dexterity game. You're flicking these little bullets around, shooting. It's a cowboy shoot 'em up game. And more to your point, sir, the demo tables are all enormous. So I would think twice about doing it on a demo table, because then you get your box and you're like, oh, the guys are like tiny. But that was me. How about you, Russ?
Well, I did get...
Wait, do I get 4 picks from the box?
Yeah, no. So what I did was I went out to a couple booths. I got in early because of the press pass, so I was like checking things out. And first thing I went over to was Privateer Press, but then I got distracted by Catalyst Game Labs because my youngest daughter really likes Catbug. You ever know Catbug from that show? Anyway, it's a cat and a bug, ladybug. So she's got the shirt on. Anyway, so we had to go there because they have, thank you, Kit, they have this little card game based on the show, and it comes with a D6 that's Catbug, right? So we got that. Then I went to, let's see, so I did do a demo of Undercity. I've been excited for Undercity for a long time. So this is the new Privateer Press dungeon crawler. Very good. It's pure co-op, so it's more like Mice and Mystics than it is like Descent. So there's no Overlord. The miniatures are fantastic. They really are really War Machine quality miniatures. They're just in board game plastic, very hard plastic. Plays fantastic, though. I like everything about it, and it's got a really strong story. It's very close to Mice and Mystics. The story is very, very strong, and the characters can level up between each adventure, so I really enjoyed that one quite a bit. Then I got over to Stronghold Games and visited the Engelsteins over there because Space Attack, I knew they only had a few copies of Survive Space Attack, which is the new version of Survive Escape from Atlantis, but it's in space. And you got to check it out. The components are just as cool as Survive, but instead of like little meeples, they're little like, I'm calling them astro meeples, like little astronauts. And instead of boats, they have like little space fighters. You put the little astro meeples in, and there's little, sci-fi creatures that attack them, and it's just really cool. Plus, Jeff did all the rules, which means it's going to be tight, and so I had to pick that up. So it was awesome. So I got that, and what else did I get? Oh, an Undercity, and that was pretty much, it was one of the big, I know what it was. So while I was waiting in line for Catbug.
You don't get to say that sentence every day.
I know, you don't. Only at GenCon. So while I was waiting in line for Catbug, I noticed this giant pile of games dwindling extremely rapidly called Wrath of the Dragons. I'm like, what is this game? And it's a brand new game from Catalyst Game Labs. It was not on my radar at all. I didn't know anything about it. So every year at GenCon, I always buy one game that looks cool that I know absolutely nothing about. It's my super risky blind purchase. And I'm looking at this thing, and first, it turns out the guy in front of me waiting for his own Catbug dice. Actually, no, he's waiting for the new version of BattleTech Interstellar Ops or something. He happened to be one of the guys who edited the rules on Wrath of the Dragon. So he's telling me all about it, and of course, selling me really well on it because I'm getting all excited about it. But basically, you're a dragon, and your job is to fly around, destroy villages, eat sheep, avoid knights, and then come back. It's like 6 players. You can be the black dragon, the blue dragon. And what's even better is it has wooden dragon meeples, wooden sheep meeples, little wooden building meeples you wipe out. And I'm like, how could this not be great? So I picked it up. I have no idea if it's good or not, but I'll let you know tomorrow after I play it. But that looked really good, too. So that was my blind purchase. Nicole, what did you see today in the gaming department?
Okay, well, for the gaming department, that giant beet that was wandering around. Okay, and like Craig, who was totally ticked off by the giant beet, I'm like, what is the giant beet? So I went to play.
You.
It totally worked.
It was like the Pied Piper.
It was like a little Pied Piper. I had to follow it back to its booth, and the game is called Bad Beets. And it's just this cute little game. There's like a $5 coupon for it in your little flyer thing, so it costs $10. And you have all these little tokens that are little beets, and you're trying to make like the other people at the table eat the beets and get rid of yours. Like you feed it to the dog, you hide it in the table, you shove it under because beets are awful. Like, does anybody like beets?
Nobody likes their beets.
Nobody likes one guy.
He likes his beets. Second row.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, there you go.
Ick, you're crazy.
Represent
Nobody
for the
likes
beets. Come on. And I should say, in the Beats defense,
yes.
Sir, here you go. Ready?
Whoa, don't hurt anybody.
It's ceramic. It's dangerous.
In the Beats defense, the Beat was never walking with his phone walking around like that. I was conflating multiple events.
So we played that and we ended up buying that. And the other thing we did was not a game thing, but related, obviously. Have you seen there was a Kickstarter for these things called Adventures cases? There were these amazing wooden cases. So, you're carrying all your junk around in like some little plastic Ziploc stupid thing, and you've got your dice and your pencils in there, and you look like you're in like 3rd grade. This is like this really nice wooden case, and it flips open, and there's like a dragon icon on the top, and then the doors open up, and it props itself up, and there's just like a felted spot where you can roll your dice, and there's lights so that you can light it up and hide it from the players.
Yeah, if GeekSchick made a player screen or a GM screen, this would be it.
It would be really cool. So they wanted those, and we missed the Kickstarter because, oops. So they found out they were here, and we're looking, and there's all these different styles you can get. And they weren't quite sure. And the guy said, well, you can order them, but it takes 5 to 6 months. They're like, well, find one. So they ended up getting those. So we spent a long time picking out exactly the right Adventures case. Yeah.
I heard the birthday and Christmas presents came early.
Yeah, the presents for the next 12 years were those Adventures cases.
Yes, very cool. So let's move on to miniatures and miniature gaming. Anybody see any cool miniatures, painting, any of that stuff?
There's a game called Iron. I'm Rafaela Turgan. I'm also from Jerusalem, Israel. I saw this game called Iron Arena. It's a beautiful, beautiful miniatures game. It's beautiful settings. I didn't see any actual pieces, but but the scenery and the buildings are really, really cool. And in one of them, they have like this machine where there's a person suspended in jelly, and I think you have to rescue him.
Sounds like a thing.
I think that I'm Matt from Vermont, a couple hours north of you guys. And I think the neatest thing I saw today for miniatures was actually at the Plaid Hat booth. There was the Tail Feathers miniatures, which actually swoop and tilt on their flight stand. So you could just imagine a group of painted up birds swooping and tilting in different directions, which affect its movement and actually has a gameplay implication as well, which was pretty neat to see. So,
awesome, very cool. Who else out there?
Jeff Brummel from Knoxville, Tennessee. Over at Scale Games, they got these little kind of like chibi minis. Are kind of like from the ones from Cool Mini or Not, that one Kickstarter, but they were just really cool. I'm going to get some for my daughter.
Awesome. And they have them all painted up, right, on their display. I've seen those. They have a chibi Cthulhu, I believe, and Tiamat.
Nice.
Go get yourself a prize.
Awesome.
I'm Sean Hogan, recently moved to Indianapolis.
A local now, a new local.
A new local. We moved here from Alaska, so.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I like to say just for GenCon, but yeah, totally worth it. Spartan Games, the new Halo Fleet Battles.
Oh, I know, right?
Yeah, looks awesome.
I just got that in the mail, and oh my god, do they have the giant ship over there?
They didn't have the giant ship, but they did have a nice fleet painted up.
Yeah.
So
very cool. Yeah, that I like everything about that game. It looks really good.
It looks good.
Yeah. Who else?
I'm coming. His just got taken, so he's thinking of something else.
Craig, is your mic on?
I don't.
There you go.
It wasn't.
Tom Ziegler from Cleveland, Ohio, and just got in the mail right before. Not a Gen Con, but I got Frostgrave, and we're excited. And
ooh, Craig's excited about that.
And
one.
my friend got a little manic over there, and he is already designing like snow terrain. He's just ready.
Nice.
Awesome. Go ahead and get yourself a prize. Actually, I played my first game at Gen Con in my hotel room last night, and it was Frostgrave
yeah.
on a side table. It was very cool.
I'm Mishi from Israel, and I played Malifaux, and it was really fun. All the characters were really nicely done, and
We knew what he meant. Characters, miniature, same thing.
Malifaux's fantastic.
I get it.
Which war band did you play, or which group did you play?
what?
Which
Oh, I
group?
played with my dad.
Oh, cool. Okay. Very cool. Help yourself
Very
to a
nice.
prize.
Okay. Speaking of Ross Watson, I don't know where he's from now. He moves around a lot.
He is.
I do move around a lot. I'm Ross Watson, currently of Denver, Colorado. And today I saw a game called Crom, Rise of the Monsters, which is a Conan miniatures game, and it's pre-painted, but it looks beautiful.
Wow.
The giant mammoth and the minion of Set, which is a giant snake, looks pretty badass.
Cool. Awesome.
He meant bad behind. It's a family show, Ross.
So,
go
Craig,
get yourself a prize.
Craig, what have you seen for miniatures today?
What did I see for miniatures? I didn't see a lot of miniatures.
I got some.
You got some? Yeah.
I'll go first.
I'm
You
drawing
think
a
about
blank.
it.
You go first.
All right. So first of all, I got to see. This actually is another one at Stronghold Games. So they have Space Cadets away team, away missions, Jeff, or away team? Away mission. Sorry.
Away team would be too
away
derivative.
Team's on the mission.
We've actually covered that on the show.
It's a Kickstarter, so it's all cool miniatures, but they have the pre-paints there, which were insane. Those are really cool. But I have to say, and this is not sucking up to Craig at all, so I went by the Wild West Exodus booth, and they got a painter there painting those models.
Oh, he's crazy.
And the new series of Wild West Exodus models are insane. I mean, does anybody agree with me? Am I making this up, or give me a? They really
Aaron,
are.
represent.
And secondly, the guy over there, I don't know. I mean, he's a very good painter, but the way he was doing lighting effects with just a brush was nuts. The one bike with like the smoke coming off it, I couldn't believe it. It was insane. One of the best paints I've ever seen. He's just like cranking them out like 30 of them.
He
or whatever.
goes super fast.
I know, right? So
It's
that was
actually very
amazing.
disheartening.
That was some of the best painting I've seen in a while. Actually, watching a guy do it was pretty insane. How about you, Craig?
Oh, back to me. Hey,
Yeah.
Nicole, what have you seen for miniatures?
No, actually, I didn't have a lot of chance to see miniatures, but the same thing, the Wild West Exodus stuff, that guy was just amazing. And he was kind of like painting sort of half
More on
to
him
people.
later. Yeah. No. You've got. I just got an idea in my head. So
Okay.
I was at the Wild West Exodus. That was cool. I'm drawing a total blank. I was running around like a madman doing demos today. So
cool.
It's only one day
I was
at
very
GenCon.
excited to see that Flying Frog actually has all of their components now available in blisters.
Oh, cool.
So like zombie survivors from Last Night on Earth and stuff like that. So I'll be visiting them tomorrow.
That's a good segue into others. What about other stuff like crazy cosplay or anything like that? Anybody seen?
Right here.
Hi, I'm John Sens from Cleveland, Ohio, and we did a live-action role-playing LARP today, the Helix, the zombie survival game, and that was a lot of fun. We had a really good time.
Very cool.
Takes about an hour, and once everybody gets into it, it can be pretty fun. We
Nice.
had a guy at the end wanting to do his monologue, and before he could even get it out, we had a guy charge in and kill him.
Very nice.
Nice.
Go get yourself a prize for charging
Nice.
and killing.
My name's Justin from Richmond, Virginia. I actually got to see two things that were kind of cool. One, I got to meet Patrick Rothfuss.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
he was in this room, I think, about 2 sessions before us, actually.
Yeah,
yeah.
actually, it was next door, but
okay, cool,
close enough.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I got to see was actually just really funny. It was somebody dressed up as GenCon Simulator 2015 at the PC game.
Nice. Awesome. Come on down and get a prize.
Okay, now, like I said, a little more on the Wild West Exodus painter.
Hey, everybody. I'm Aaron Cook. I'm from Dayton, Ohio. I work at the Wild West Exodus booth, so shameless plug for them. Jim Wapple is his name. He's a great painter. He has a lot of videos and has a blog online, so check him out. He does a lot of really cool stuff. A lot of miniature companies just give him miniatures because they've had companies that had prices or sales went up 400% just after he
Wow.
started painting models because people saw, wow, those are actually pretty sick models. So He's over there painting all weekend. So if you want to come stop by and see, he uses like Walmart brushes. It's amazing. I don't know how he does it. Like he tells me companies give him like $30 brushes and he doesn't use them. He's like, yeah, they're good for spreading glue. That's about it. So he didn't name any companies, so I'm not dropping dimes on anybody. He's just saying he gets offered a lot. But yeah, he seriously has the little plastic Walmart ones, and they're huge bristles, and he just gets that crazy detail. So, and Mr. Craig and Russ will be there Saturday at the booth sometime, hanging out, signing stuff. If you want to come pick up his books, they're there. So, yeah, shameless plug again.
Nice.
Thanks for the shameless plug. Go get yourself a present.
Oh, we got someone over here.
Hey there, my name's Nicole Strack. I'm from Wilmette, Illinois, and I was really fascinated with all of the artists here. This is my first time at GenCon, and holy moly, there's some incredibly talented people.
Nice.
And we picked up some prints from Tyler Walpole, I think his name is, like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle one, and then there was an Iron Man one. They were amazing, though, like so incredible.
Wow. Awesome. Awesome. Great
Yeah,
stuff.
the artist
is
area,
amazing.
it's much bigger than it usually
Yeah, it seems
is.
like it's
too.
largest here.
Very, very cool.
Hi, my name is Colleen Morgan from O'Fallon, Illinois also. And I met Tony DiTerralisi today, and I've had an art piece of his tattooed on my body for 13 plus years. And he saw it, and he reacted very excitedly, and he tweeted about pointing to my back with a picture, so I'm somewhere on the internet.
Awesome.
Congratulations
That's so cool.
for internet famedom.
Right.
Yes. It was, I know, my 5 seconds is up. My 5 seconds is up.
And
awesome.
you get a prize.
Come on down. Grab something. All right, cool. So we got another person here. Go ahead.
Will from Lyford, Indiana, and we were in this room right before you guys came on. And, sang some Firefly sing-along songs. I believe with Mark Gunn was his name. I hope that's the right name.
Nice. How was
it?
it?
It was a ton of fun.
Cool.
A lot of original songs, and a plug for him, because he said this will be coming out soon, but there is a Reaver lullaby song, which is absolutely fantastic. It's everything you can imagine it to be.
Very cool.
I want that.
So I don't know who told me this today, but Nathan Fillion tweeted a joke today. How does a Reaver clean his spear? Runs it through the wash.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. All right, what about other for Craig? What have you seen today?
What did I see today?
Other than vegetables filming themselves on their cell phone.
The vegetable did not film him. Is a vegetable? No.
I don't know.
What did I see today? I don't even feel like I was here.
All right.
Like minis, I don't know. Cosplay. I mean, I saw giant swords in the vendor. I saw a lot in the vendor hall that I personally think should not have been in the vendor hall.
Yeah.
Taking up space and knocking me over and.
Aww.
Yeah. See. Yeah.
Oh, was it soft or was it one of those?
Was it? No, it was metal.
Well, some of them are like those little, Oh, ow.
Wow.
Ow.
Okay. What about you, Rob?
Well, so first of all, I thought it was really cool. So I just think it's really cool how Indiana embraces Gen Con. So I'm checking in at the JW Marriott. And not only do they have like wallpaper, it looks like dungeons, behind the main check-in desk. But so at the Marriott, it's the JW, right? So there's a person leading you to the check-in thing, and then there's the people checking you in. The person leading you in is dressed like Legolas with his little name tag on. The person checking us in is Gandalf. Right next door is like a knight or something. So like when your staff is dressed up in cosplay, it's kind of awesome. And then also what was really cool was, so I did the food trucks for dinner. And the food trucks this year, they're doing a really good job. First of all, they're extremely well organized. There's like a little brochure that can tell you where they all are. But I love that even the food trucks are all like embracing Gen Con. So a lot of them have named their foods after it. Like there's a cupcake truck with the Obi-Wan chocolate cupcake or something. But what I thought was really cool was all the tip jars are geared towards gaming. I thought this is brilliant. So they know their audience. So one of the tip jars is like, I need money for cosplay. And then a lot of them, these are really the good ones. A lot of them have two tip jars. And one of them says, which is better, Pathfinder or D&D? See?
That's genius.
Thinking genius right there. And then they had like, vote for the light side or the dark side with the Star Wars logo. It was really clever. So I love that Indianapolis and just the businesses really get it, which is cool.
I gave the girls each $1 to put in the, would you go with the dark side or light side?
Yep.
We're raising 2 Sith.
Yeah, you knew that was happening. What about you, Nicole? What kind of fun stuff did you see today?
I'm out of fun stuff. I saw very many things.
Cool.
Half of them you saw, so that was it.
Well, I guess that's achievements. Thank you, Ruth, for joining for achievements.
That's achievements.
wargaming was king, in a time when Kickstarter ruled the web, when every day brought more and more games. Now, more than ever, 2 men and a revolving third chair and a girl, a total fangirl, brought a shining light into the darkness so that all mankind would know what to buy. They are the D6 generation.
Hey, you know what that sound means? It's time to talk about our friends at Lone Wolf Development, home of the Big Wolf.
Oh,
And
the Lone Wolf.
And home of some of the best software for gamers out there. My favorite particularly is, of course, RealmWorks.
Oh, it's the big one now.
Which is their big one, and they were showing the heck out of that at GenCon.
Oh, yeah, they were there with their big giant screen
Did you
TVs.
Did you get in to say hi to Colin and everybody? Every time I went by there, it was so mobbed.
It was mobbed. I couldn't wade through the crowd.
I could not get to. So, guys, we apologize. We tried to get in there, but you were literally mobbed with people.
Victims of your own success once again.
Yes, indeed. And if you have not tried RealmWorks, you really must. It is the ultimate way to track your world, everything that happens to it, whether you're the kind of GM that does a lot of prep work, or are you the kind of GM that just kind of makes things up on the fly and takes notes. I've tried both style of campaigns with it. It's just a great way to keep your information organized,
and
linked
RealmWorks
together.
Works with both techniques.
It does, and it works with any RPG system. So that's great too. But let's say you're not a GM. Let's say you got other things to do. Let's say you want to make a character. Well, that's where Hero Lab comes in, right? So Hero Lab lets you create any character for any RPG. Great way to do it. They've got a great app now for the iPad, especially if you're a Pathfinder fan. Because
it's not every RPG, but there's a whole bunch of them.
Yes. Well, Hero Lab handles just about all of them, but then the mobile version's less so. But yeah, it's the Pathfinder, particular Pathfinder fan, the mobile version is fantastic. It's like a live, living character sheet almost. It's really cool. And then, of course, Craig, the one that started it all, the one that got us in, Army Builder, and
Army Builder.
Again,
Army Builder took one of the worst parts of miniatures wargaming and made it a fun side activity all on its own.
It did. It makes it fun now.
Building your army became a pastime unto itself, where you could just sit for hours and tinker with the builds of almost any miniatures game you could think of.
Yeah, and again, we just talked about Hero Lab. The Shadowrun 5th edition package just came out as well. You're a Shadowrun player. It's all in there. Just fantastic stuff. Your favorite miniature war games in Army Builder, your favorite RPGs in Hero Lab, and if you're a world-building GM, you need to take a close look at RealmWorks. And that's all available at wolflair.com.
Nobody is making better software for gamers than Wolflair.
That's right. And now, in an attempt to bring a small amount of dignity and decorum to this otherwise base form of entertainment, and I use the term loosely, I am proud to present... Oh, get on with it. It's time for App of the Ep. Seriously, Wakeland, I used to have my own segment, and now I'm relegating to announcing this pap. Hey, you're lucky we still use you. Hey, and welcome to another App of the Ep. And this time around, I have a little classic video game trivia for you. Can you remember what game this theme is from? Because you're too young, or maybe you're not, you're just not into adventure games. This, of course, is the theme from King's Quest. Actually, it's a little bit of a cheat. This is the theme from the re-released King's Quest collection, released out in the early days of Windows XP. Of course, the original King's Quest theme, the original King's Quest is actually released on the IBM PC Junior by Sierra Online. It was one of the earliest and first full-color graphic adventure games, and it ushered in a whole era of what would become the point-and-click adventure games. But back then, this predates the mouse on a lot of PCs. And so back then, actually, you would type in what you wanted to do. So it was kind of like a combination of the old text adventures and graphics. So you'd see a scene, a very poorly rendered, well, not poorly, but for that day, old school rendered scene, 8-bit graphics, and then you'd type in Go West, and you'd watch Graham, your little character, walk off to the right side of the screen, and then a new screen would draw, and you'd say, go to well, look in, and things like that. Great game, classic game. Started a whole genre of the point-and-click adventures, the entire Quest series, from King's Quest to Police Quest to Space Quest. Leisure Suit Larry was also in this. And, of course, the entire great genre that also came off from LucasArts games, including, Secret of Monkey Island and all those great games as well, Mystery Mansion, all those fantastic, fantastic games. Great genre. Well, good news, if you are a fan of those games, I know Secret of Monkey Island came out a little while ago on the 360. My girls loved that, and so I was very, very excited when I saw this summer King's Quest has released a brand new version on the Xbox One, and this is really interesting. We got it, and we started playing it. My daughters fell in love with it. Now it's a multi-chapter release, so right now Chapter 1 is out, but the other chapters are coming out in the not-too-distant future, and what's been great about it so far is we've just fallen in love with the game all over again, but what's really cool about it is what made the original King's Quest great was the interactive storytelling and the feeling like you were part of the story, the addition of the graphics, the great writing, the humor, the characters. All of that's in the new King's Quest, but it's a new story with some slight twists on it, and well as a new storytelling method. So it's not point and click anymore. You're using your joystick, you're moving your character around. Still somehow has that old feel, but in a very new wrapper. Great, fantastic sort of cel-shaded animation style. Really, really engaging characters, great voice acting, really great storytelling, some fantastic scenes, just a really, really great game. It has that old school feel, but in a new way. I don't know how else to describe it. So I really want to highly recommend for this week's App of the Ep, the brand new King's Quest on Xbox One. I cannot recommend it highly enough. Definitely check it out. Also a great game to play with your kids. It is single player, but it's the kind of game where you're solving puzzles together. So if you're tired of those games that are all action and you want a game that's a little more thinky, but also has some really rewarding scenes of great humor and great animation style. The early, and you'll get a great taste of it right from the beginning. The very early interactions with the dragon in the well. No spoilers, but if you're an old King's Quest fan, you're like, oh, the dragon in the well, and the mirror, right in the first scene. Great stuff. So again, King's Quest on Xbox One. And that's the App of the Ep. Wait. All right, here we go.
Okay.
All right, I managed to pause it. Sorry about that. All right, so here's the plan. This year is Advanced Family Feud. So we did this last year, and I really enjoyed it for a couple reasons. First of all, it gets good participation. Everybody seemed to like it. Second of all, it's true play by mob because the answers to these questions actually come from the listeners who follow us on Facebook and Twitter. So it's actually everybody who listens to the show who can't be here, plus all of you playing along. But thirdly, last year what happened was we got interrupted, we got cut short, it didn't work very well, and the scoring system was terrible.
It was awful.
It was 1 point. That's not how Family Feud does it. So this year we're going to be much, much more advanced. So first of all,
told you Russ got excited.
Oh, yes. So first of all, to start this properly, what we need to do is divide you all up into teams of roughly the same player count. So what we normally do, so if Nicole and Craig, you're going to have to walk out into the audience, and we're going to divide you up into quarters here, and you'll be teams. So start dividing people up into roughly.
Not going to be easy. Stage right really is underrepresented.
Well, yeah, maybe people shift their seats around a little bit or something to make it all work out there.
No, I think we'll be fine. Oh, we got a couple guys who want they looked around at the people sitting near them and bailed. Okay, and we'll go with from here forwards. You guys are one team, and all of you guys in the back, you are another team. You're going to have to make up in zeal what you're lacking in numbers. I have faith. There you go. I have faith.
All right,
we've got some heroes from previous years.
All right, team. So what I need you to do first is the most important thing is to figure out which two teams are going to face off initially here in Family Feud. Now, to do that, you need to pick a team name and a team cheer. Now, it's really important that your cheer be short and succinct because it also serves as your buzzer, right? So, and we're going to judge the two most creative team names and team cheers, the first and second place, judged by Craig, Nicole, and for a tiebreaker, the lovely children over there. Those will be team 1 and 2. So go ahead and make a little powwow for a moment. We'll give you a couple minutes here.
You must now work amongst yourselves.
Right.
You need the Jeopardy
Figure out
theme
a
music
good,
now.
a good theme, right.
Or you just could stop recording.
I'll turn this down. Hang on a second. All right.
Are we ready?
You have to go on the field and.
Okay, here we
All
go.
right.
Ready?
All right.
Okay. So we'll break it down like team 1, team 2, team 3, team 4 until they
Sounds
come
good.
up with their own. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm going to name them.
So team A. Sorry, team A.
Team A.
All right, here goes. Team A, what is your team name?
Zombies.
Nice.
Zombies.
Nice. Very poignant, topical. I like
All right.
it. Zombies.
2 B's.
Oh, Russ's spelling. This is also what happens every Wednesday. Translating
All right.
Russ's show notes.
I got it. Wrong beats.
Team Zombies.
I thought you
Okay.
were busting a move zombies over there.
Okay, so here we go. This is Team Zombies cheer.
Yep.
I
That's
like
pretty
it.
good.
I
That's
like
pretty
it.
good.
I
All
like
right.
it.
Okay, ready? This is Team B.
That's team. Wait, it could be. Yes, it's fine.
Where's
It's Team
Team
B.
B? I'm
Yep.
going with Team
B works great.
We are the Geekly McNerdigans.
Oh, look at that! That
I
threat, the
hope
literary
your chant
threat,
is okay.
really.
Are you ready?
Nice.
And what's your chant? Are you ready? Because hopefully it wasn't just stolen. But
Oh, we do.
Uh-oh.
Hey, you knew it.
Oh, wow.
All
Okay.
right. Nicely done, gentlemen.
All
and
right.
ladies. All right.
So Team C, what is Team C's name? Team Clean. I don't like where this is going. All right. And what is Team Clean's cheer? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Deodorant. All righty.
okay, and
Nice.
then we have Team D. Team D, what is your name? They can't answer. What? It's silence.
It's Team Review Pandemic.
I don't know why they picked that.
I don't know either.
We had to have reviewed Pandemic at some point.
And,
Best
and
game
what
we've
is
never
your,
reviewed.
What is your chant?
Ah, nice.
Nice.
All right. All right. So,
All right,
judges
all right, all
Nicole
right.
and Craig, which two teams are the most creative slash
Let's
best?
hear their
cheer?
let's hear their chants again.
All right.
So all at once, one at a time. No, it. Do you want to change it?
Now's your chance. Cheer, change. When the judge is ruling on this.
Okay. Okay.
I like the leadership.
All
over
right,
here.
ready? There we go.
Okay.
That's the next generation right there.
They're on it.
Okay, ready?
Ooh, all right. I get it. John Beats, eat this. Okay.
Let's hear Geekly McNerdigans. 1, 2, 3.
That's pretty good.
Okay. Team Clean. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and Team Review Pandemic. 1, 2, 3. Oh, they all sound good though.
They do. They do.
So we have to pick two?
We picked two.
I can pick. You pick one. I pick one. I pick these
Yeah.
guys.
That's your number one pick?
All right.
Okay.
Sounds like Review Pandemic is one of the
Review
teams going up to the
And,
buzzer here.
Oh, Geekly Mc... Oh.
So,
The pressure.
see, sucking up
I
to
don't
the
know
host
that.
always works.
Yeah, I'm shameless. Geekly McNerdigan.
Oh, all right. All right, so each team send down a representative to the front here to come up
Each
and hit the
team
buzzer.
has to send up one rep.
All right, Craig and Nicole, why don't you stand close to get a mic on each
Okay.
of these people?
Yep.
Oh, sorry, just the two winning teams. Sorry. You guys have got a chance to play next in a second. Don't hang on.
Don't
there.
worry. Your chances are in no
You're coming
way
back.
limited by what just happened.
Right, don't worry. You're playing soon. All right, so what you want to do here, guys, is you're going to see the question on the board. Craig will read the question to you. You give your cheer to buzz in first. If you guys remember Family Feud works, the first person gets to answer the question. The second person then also gets to answer the question. Whoever gets higher on the list, their team gets to choose the play or pass. Right? All right, here we go. And if you don't remember Family Feud, you'll figure it out after the first round. It's not very complicated. All right, here we go. All right, here comes the question. Here we go.
Outbreak.
All right, the question is, the Avenger who most needs their own movie. Who was first over there? Wrong by a hair. All right, So, Geekly, who is it? Uh-oh. 10 seconds.
He can't have help. He's not letting
You can't cover help.
Black Widow.
Black Widow. Oh, number one answer. Well, you can't beat that. You want to play or pass? Now, remember.
Play or pass.
If you choose to play, you got to get them. You can try to get as many as you can. You get the points added up for the numbers shown there on the screen. And if you get them all, you win. If you don't get them all, the other team gets one chance to steal. If they fail, you keep your points.
We'll play.
All right, they're going to play. Going down the row here.
They're going to play, Russ.
All right, nice. All right, going down the row. Who'd like to answer another question? Got to volunteer someone to give us an answer here.
Are you not letting them just as a team? No.
No, that's in the when you go to steal it.
Oh, okay.
Right. All right.
Him.
Well, Hawkeye doesn't have his own movie, so let's go with that one.
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye, number 3. Which Avenger needs his own movie? Who's next over there? His or her? There.
Black Widow's already up there.
Their own film. Yes. He's already had his own film, Captain America.
Nick Fury?
Nick Fury, survey says. Sorry about that. 2 more chances.
2 more chances.
When you get 3 strikes, the other team gets a chance to steal.
The Wasp.
The Wasp, survey says. Uh-oh.
One more
Now,
strike.
Now back there, get ready to steal back there. Think of a good answer. 10 seconds. Who's going to answer over there? Come on, there's a lot of Avengers out there, people. Just saying. Falcon. Let's see. Let me see if he's right. Survey says. Oh, no. That would surprise me. That should have been there, honestly. I think so.
Okay,
all right.
guys.
Chance to steal over there.
Okay. What's going to be?
Scarlet Witch.
Do we have Scarlet Witch?
Great answer. Oh, that means the McNerdigans, you get the points. You've scored
80 points for the McNerdigans.
Let's see what the number 2. Now remember, thousands of people were asked this question. Some number answered. All right. Here we go. Number 2, the Vision. Oh, all right. Number 4. You're going to love number 4. Don't boo me. Remember, this was not me.
Yeah, we didn't have anything to do with this.
This
other
was
than
not
putting
me.
the question out there.
Number 4,
Wonder Man.
All right, not me, okay? And number 5,
She-Hulk.
All right.
Okay.
All right. All right, so hang on a second here.
Where'd your team names go, Russ?
That's all right.
Oh, there they go. There they are.
A little bit of quick editing here.
I don't know what's happening.
And that was Geekly McNerdigans. You guys got, what I say for points?
80.
80 points.
80
Nice.
points for
All right,
the
on the
Geekly
board.
McNerdigans.
All right. So now, the 2 teams who did not win, you guys.
Send up a representative.
Now you send up a representative. You get to play in round 2. Send up a representative down here. Come on, boys and girls.
And come on over here so we're not blocking any of those people from the screen. Here we go.
All right, here we go. Are we ready? No, you can't help him in the first. He's all on his own.
He's on his own.
All right, here we go. By the way, everybody who answered a question, come down and get a prize. Come on down. Form a line.
Over
Hope so.
here, you guys get it.
All right. Right or wrong. Just for participating. Just for being out there. All right. You guys ready, gentlemen? Ready?
Yes.
All right, here we go. Here comes the question. All right, here we go. Here comes the question. Craig, you can read it. A
Deodorant.
phrase. There it is. What do you
Here we
say?
go, Team Clean.
Wrong! Oh, number 1 answer. Are you gonna
Okay, you're going to play, you're going to
or
pass. They're going to play.
All right. Thousands were asked. Some number answered.
And then through some strange mathematical equation, Russ got 100 points out of it.
Well, it's percentages.
Oh.
So it's really complicated. All right, it's percentages. So a phrase often heard on the D6 generation.
Let's say innovative mechanics.
Oh,
innovative mechanic. Let me
innovative
see.
mechanic.
Oh, number 4 answer.
Fourth answer.
So wrong was number 1. Innovative mechanic was number 4. The top 6 answers on the board. A phrase often heard on the D6 generation.
Achievement for gaming?
Oh, that's a good answer, but oh, sorry. Didn't make it.
Okay,
all right.
next.
1 strike, 2 more left. Anyone on that team over there? Make sure you come down and get a prize.
Fiddly Bits.
Fiddly Bits?
Fiddly Bits.
Fiddly Bits. Good
Fiddly
answer, but
oh.
Be thinking about the steal up here. Be thinking about the steal. 1 more strike available here. Come on, we've both been on the air for years. You know.
They got nothing. They're all looking at
No
each
pressure.
other like
There's
They're
a
thinking
wealth
hard.
of options.
All right. 30 seconds.
Actually, I heard several of them out in the hallway before we got in here.
Right. 30 seconds.
You timing it?
Yep. 20 seconds.
I
10
think
seconds.
Perhaps.
Oh, too late. Time ran out. All right. Chance to steal over here, guys. What are you going to do?
What? You guys decide amongst yourselves what your answer is going to be.
Yourselves.
Okay. Okay. No hate.
No hate?
All right. There is no hate on the board.
Oh, there for the steal. Woo!
Well done.
All right. I'm going to go to our official mathematician in the back row, Jeff Ingles. How many points is that? Thank you.
Nice.
58 points.
Now, here's a question for you, because I actually don't think you get the points for that last question in the actual game, but
All
I
right.
think we'll play that.
We'll play you do. Why not? All right. 58 points going to you guys. The number 2 answer was? Not too horrible. Number 5?
In the style of?
And number 6, I don't know where this came from.
Jedi Mind Trick.
All right.
There you go.
All right, real quick here. My high-tech copying here. Talk amongst yourselves.
Uh-huh. And, yep, 2 from the next team can come on up.
All right, you guys. Zombie, you got 58. Is that what we said? All right, Zombie is.
So.
All right, now, wait. Now we have the tiebreaker round again because everybody can play again. So here's what we're going to do. This time, I want each team to do we're going to do a face-off right now. Okay, so each team send out a member. You can send out a volunteer. You get to get a prize for
Everybody
this.
pick one. Send one representative of your team to the front of the room.
Should have 4 people standing
4
with
people,
us.
4
Yes.
teams.
All right, come on down.
Okay, come on, Team Clean.
I
Come
only
on down.
have 3 people. How do I? There's 4.
Okay, there we
go. I'm like, we only have 3.
All right, so here we go.
I have no idea.
So we're going to
Because
do.
I don't know.
This is basically what we're going to do now is we're going to do in the style of. Okay.
This
the
is where
patent
Stephen
pending
Hawking. Oh.
D6 generation. All right, ready? So, Sydney, you're up first. And then we're going to judge. Sydney, I have used the Who Would Win app to pick at random a famous individual that Sydney will have to use to do in the style of describe the patent pending D6G rating system. No problem. You got an easy one. In the style of R2D2.
Dad is coming to the rescue.
There you go.
In the style of R2D2, please describe the patent pending D6G rating system. Go ahead, Sydney. She goes first.
You'll get your own. It's okay.
You get your
Understandable.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Okay.
Very good,
There
Sydney.
you go.
And then we're going to judge the best. Okay. All right, next. Who's the score on the circle? For you, sir. Ready? No, wait. You got a new person.
You get a different person.
You get a different person. So she did in style of R2D2, which is very good. Your style is Eeyore. Please describe the
Eeyore
patent pending
from-
D6G rating system in the style of Eeyore.
From Winnie the Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh.
Not very good.
That's it.
Too pessimistic.
All right.
Okay.
All right, that's pretty good. Okay, we'll take that. And then Adam, you must do it in the style of Jack Nicholson. Jack Nicholson.
Well, you see, if it's good, it's a low number. And if it's bad, it gets a high number.
All right, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Okay.
And finally, our last individual there, you must do it in the style of Dracula. Dracula.
Well, you see, if you start with a low number, then that's good. Sort of like a blonde. But if it goes to a high number, then we're talking garlic bread. And we don't want that.
Wow, very good.
Very nice. Very nice.
Wow, you got a standing O. I think we got our one of our teams right there.
Yeah.
So, judges, who are our best two teams to go up to the next showdown?
I'm going to say Dracula and R2D2.
Oh, there you go.
Nicole?
All right.
That
Do you
works
concur?
for me, Dracula
All right.
and R2D2.
Send down those two teams. Send us representatives. We're going to do another round. Here we
Or
go.
they can stay.
You can stay, right.
Have
Here we go.
Dracula and R2 stay.
Another round. All right. Who's our players? You guys ready up here? All right. We ready? Here we go. Get the mic right. Yeah. Kiss that mic. Get it nice and close here so we can hear you. There we go. All right. Ready. Here we go. Round 3. Some number of people were asked. Here we go. Top 4 answers on the board. Right.
Stevie. Outbreak.
Oh, there we go. Outbreak up
I'm going
first.
to go with Jeffrey Engelstein.
Jeff Engelstein. All right, let me check the list here on this one. Going to check here.
Wow, is that phone doing
It's
multiple
really doing a
jobs?
I know,
Oh,
huh?
I'm sorry.
Oh, she turned on her own father
I'm
and was
sorry.
wrong.
Right? That's
I'm sorry. That is a good thing.
It's a good thing
Ready?
you didn't get it.
All right, try a different one. Try a different one.
Steve Bonacore.
Stephen Bonacore. Let me see. Oh! Number one answer.
Stephen Bonacore.
I don't even know how that happened. It's people on the internet. I don't know.
All right.
All right.
So you guys gonna
Player pass.
keep it or pass?
3 answers remaining. Oh, they're passing.
They're
this.
passing.
Very strategic.
Okay,
All
I'll
right,
get it.
going down to other team there.
Team review pandemic. Okay, ready? A voice most likely to betray you on the dice tower.
Z Garcia.
Z
Ooh,
Garcia. Is
very
Z
good
Garcia
answer.
on the board?
I'm sorry. That's only your first strike, though. A little technical challenge. It's only your
Okay,
first
here we go.
Tom Vassell.
Tom
Ooh,
Vassell. Is Tom Vassell?
Vassell. Oh, number 2 answer.
Number two, Tom
answer.
Vassell.
2 answers remaining.
And 2 answers remaining.
Sam Healy.
Ooh,
Sam Healy.
Healy's
Is
a
Sam
great
Healy up
answer.
there?
Great. Sorry. You do have one more strike remaining, though.
Yeah,
so,
Russ accidentally pushed the
yeah,
strike
so you got
twice.
one more left. One more try there, guys.
What do you got? Is Russ Wakelin on the board?
What the?
Well played.
There's no accounting for the internet.
Well
space.
played. There's no accounting
All right.
for the internet. Oh.
There's one choice remaining.
Mr. Engelstein says he was personally stabbed by you.
I have no recollection
and
of that
I
event.
think that answer might have made him feel a little bit better.
All right.
Okay, guys, there's one answer up back.
One answer, one strike.
Eric Summer.
Eric
Summer.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
How could a
That
mellifluous
means
voice
the
like
Beats
that
get the
betray
points.
you on the internet?
All right, you guys get the points. Which team was this?
Okay.
The Beats, yeah. Zombies get the points. Woo! Well, they get a chance to steal, right?
They
chance
have to steal. Did you
You
think
got to
that's how the
steal.
game works?
Sorry, my bad. You got to steal. So what's the final
They
answer,
passed,
guys?
so now they have to steal.
You got to steal it. Yeah.
Yes, you have to throw out an
You got to
answer
guess
and
the
see if
last
you got it.
answer. You only got to get one answer right.
Right, they're saying Ryan Metzler.
Ryan Metzler. Oh! So you guys get the points. Wait, Jeff.
Tweet that out, Jeff. Tweet that out.
You got to look at answer number 4. All of them.
Oh,
there
every
it
now
is.
and then, Family Feud has a really cruddy answer like that.
So 85 points then goes to the guys in the corner.
Nice. That would be Team Review Pandemic.
Yeah, Review Pandemic. All right.
Okay, so you guys anybody who answered, come up and get a prize, and the two remaining teams send up a representative for the next round. So we're looking for
All right.
Geekly McNerdigans
The other two
and
teams are
Team
up.
Clean.
Come on down, guys. All right, we got 2 players. Where's our second player? Oh, there we go. We're ready. Okay.
Sorry.
All right, gentlemen, are you ready? Here we go. No pressure. Here we go. Top 8 answers on the board. Deodorant.
Wrong.
Ooh, you guys got to make the call on this.
There you go. Team deodorant.
Meeples.
Meeples.
Number 3
Okay.
answer. Number 3 answer.
So, team review pandemic. You have a chance if you can get them up with the answer number 1 or 2. You steal.
Are you playing? Yes, your choice.
Cards.
Cards.
Oh,
Number
it was
5
up there.
answer.
Sadly, you helped them. They're
All
going
right,
to play.
They're going to play.
Okay.
They're going to play this one. Nice job. All right, here we go. I'm having
That's
way
just
too much fun with this.
teasing.
I'm just telling you right now. All right. Thousands were asked. Some number answered. Besides
Top
dice.
8 answers on the board.
Besides
Rules.
dice, name something found in a game box.
Rules.
Rule book. Show me rule book.
Oh,
number 1
well
answer.
done.
A board.
A board.
Game board. Oh, there it is. Number 2 answer.
They're rolling the board.
All right.
Or have they run out of gas?
4 answers remain.
Tokens.
Tokens.
Oh.
Miniatures.
Miniatures. Survey says. Oh. Not if there's meeples.
I guess
You
it
gotta
depends
kinda go
on
with
which
it.
box.
Yeah, it depends what you're thinking.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
these guys have never played a game.
Organizing.
Organizer. Ooh, I like how you
Organizer.
think. I like how you think, but apparently it's a fantasy flight game. Oh, did I just go there? Oh, I did.
Wow.
All right. So that's 3 strikes, unfortunately.
All right.
So the steal.
The steal
Chance to steal.
from...
A lot of chances to steal here. A lot of open ones.
Uh-oh. A lot of debate going on. 4
Remember,
answers on the board.
You got to think like the internet.
Think like the internet.
Think.
Anger.
Grumpy cat. Grumpy cat. All right, 30 seconds over there.
There's 4 answers on the board.
4 answers on the board.
Player aids. Player
aid
aids.
survey says. Oh! Woo. So you
Team
guys get-
clean.
All right, Engelstein math. What is that for points? 75. Thank you, Jeff. All right. The remaining answers were new game smell.
Think like the internet.
Number 6, baggies. Number 7, cubes. And number 8,
Cattle cow.
It is a fantasy flight
It is a
game.
fantasy flight game.
Oh. All right. We love fantasy flight.
We tease because we love.
All right, so which team got 75 there?
That would be Team Clean.
Team Clean is now on the board.
Team Clean.
Is now on the board.
On the board. Oh, it's a nail biter. All right. It's
At the end of round 4, it's Zombeats with 58. Geekly McNerdigans for 80 represent. Team Clean for 70 with 75 and Review Pandemic for 85.
We still got plenty of time.
There's
and
a
plenty more rounds.
shameful amount of game designers on Team Review Pandemic.
There is.
Right. All right. Plenty of time to go. We need 2 more representatives for another, or we need actually 4 representatives now for another Who Would Win challenge.
Oh, another Who Would Win challenge.
Yeah, but it's going to, this time it's not in the style of, it's a whole new category.
And while we're organizing that, again, if you asked questions in the last round, get yourself
Make
a
sure you
prize.
get a prize. What's that?
And you would have done it great.
Yeah. All right, ready? Here we go.
Okay.
All right. The category this time, it's no longer in the style of. Category is football. Football. Who would win football? First. Who's going first here?
Our football or Europe?
We're going to go with American football. But
Because
but
the
it's a good
Guild
question.
Ball episode
All right.
is already in the can.
Who's up first? Pick somebody. All right.
Right.
Simba. Why would Simba win in football?
Quick.
All right,
He's
quick.
quick.
Good answer.
Simba
Good
is
answer.
quick.
Your character is Doctor Who. Why would Doctor Who win in football?
Wibbly wobbly timey wimey.
All right. Next up, your character is. Sorry, play pause of the app. App's not designed for 4 players. Here we go. Pinocchio. Why would Pinocchio win in football?
Ooh, tough one.
Because he can actually talk to the ball. It's like magic.
It's like magic.
He's
okay.
talking
All right.
to the ball.
And finally, I think it's the best one. How would Tina Turner win in football? I don't pick them.
She would distract everyone.
She would distract everyone. Okay, judges.
Okay.
Judges.
Tina, I would go with Tina also. And then I'm going to go with timey-wimey, wobbly,
All right.
wobbly.
Doctor Who and Tina
Wibbly
Turner.
wobbly, timey
Yeah.
Come on down, answer your
I'm not a big
challenge. Here we
Doctor
go.
Who fan, so I don't know. No.
All right.
But I knew it.
All right, round 5. Here we go. Are we ready? All right. Thousands were asked. Some number answered. Here we go. Top 7 answers on the board. Upfake. Oh, nice.
He
What
wins,
is your
so go ahead and
category?
give an answer.
What's your answer?
Pandemic.
Pandemic.
Ooh.
It would make a good review, too.
It's hard to argue with that, but the internet says.
Oh, all right, sir.
All right.
Obviously, the real answer is Cyclades.
Which one?
Cyclades.
Cyclades.
Oh, okay. Now
keep
we
going. Keep going. Get another. Try again.
Board game.
Apparently, this is hard.
7 answers on the board.
Any of them could be good.
Student bodies.
Student bodies.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Okay, sorry,
we'll go back
Kurt.
To the line. We can go back to the people.
Cash and guns.
Cash and guns. Come on, Ross.
Why don't you go to their teammates? Go to
Bad
their
internet.
teammates.
Bad.
All right, go to their teammates. They need help. here.
Settlers of Catan.
Settlers of Catan. I would, and neither would the internet.
What the heck did the internet say?
Not that.
Obviously, Agricola.
Agricola. What the?
Oh.
I didn't think this
You
was going to
should
be that hard.
losing points.
Monopoly?
Monopoly. I think it's been done.
Okay, guys. Imperial Assault. I think that's already been done, too.
Okay, we're moving on to Carcassonne.
Which one?
Carcassonne.
Carcassonne. Oh, my goodness.
Descent.
I would watch that movie.
Oh, come on.
Eclipse?
Eclipse is close, but wrong.
Oh, a hint. Dead of Winter.
On
Guys.
the board.
Okay, one chance to steal.
Winter. Player pass.
Oh,
They're
okay,
passing.
no pass. Nice.
They're passing.
Well done.
They're passing. Okay. No pressure, Engelstein's team over there.
Twilight Imperium.
Twilight Imperium.
Oh!
Now you're thinking like the internet.
Only 5 more to go.
Descent.
Ben Said.
Oh!
2 strikes remaining.
Must pay attention.
Eldritch Horror.
Oh. That's a good one, but
Oh.
1 strike remaining. You're ready to steal over there.
Arkham Horror?
Oh.
Oh, okay.
All right, chance
Here's
to steal.
for stealing.
Chance to steal.
Zombicide.
Zombicide.
Zombicide? All right. You guys score 50 points.
Team Review Pandemic gains 50 points.
All right. Here we go. Ready? Number 3. XCOM. I'd pay to see that. Number 4, Mice and Mystics.
Rafe would pay to see that.
That would be good. Number 5,
Space Hulk.
The first one was bad. I'd say I'd pay to see a good one. Anybody saw the GW? No, we won't go there. Number 6, BattleTech. That should be number 1, people. That should be Game of Thrones type stuff on HBO right there. That's what that should be. And number 7, Android Netrunner. All right.
Bad internet.
That was a tough category.
Yes. Yep. So now representatives from the other 2 teams come up. And that would be Team Clean and Zombies.
Pandemic's now in the lead, people. Watch out.
And Review Pandemic is charging forward.
They are.
If they win, are you going to?
I don't know. Maybe. All right. I think this will be an easy category, but who knows? I didn't think the last one was going to be that bad. Here we go. All right. Ready? Thousands were asked. Some of them were answered. Here comes the question. Top 8 answers.
Something every fantasy RPG adventure should have in their starting inventory.
Deodorant. Eat this. I think deodorant got that one.
10-foot pole.
A 10-foot pole. There it is. Which, by the way, the internet did insist it have a 250-pound weight limit. So it's on the board. Number 2 answer. Well, they can get it. They can steal it. If you can name the number 1 answer here.
50 feet of rope.
50 feet of rope is the number 1 answer.
Nicely done.
OMG. Player
Excellent
pass. Player
work.
pass. What are you gonna do?
Player play. They're gonna
All
play.
right, I like it. I like the hook spot.
Okay.
All right.
Something any adventurer should have in their pack.
Starting inventory.
6 answers still on the board.
Rations.
I heard rations. Survey says number 6
Rations,
answer.
okay.
Rations.
Water skin.
Water skin.
A water skin. Survey says.
Okay.
Water skin didn't make the cut.
Ink.
Oh, every good wizard should have it, but the internet says.
Oh, silly internet.
Sorry.
Flint and steel.
Flint and steel.
Flint and steel. Number 4 answer. Remember, get the good ones so the other guys can't steal it from you.
Torches.
Torches. Number 3 answer.
Flask of oil.
Flask of oil.
Survey says.
Look at him teasing with.
Oh, chance to steal now. Chance to steal over there.
Something every adventurer should have in their pack.
Starting
3
inventory.
answers remaining.
Yep. 30 seconds remain over there. Quick.
You needed wait time music.
I know, right?
Russ has got all kinds of sound effects he's not using.
Bedroll. No, I don't. Yes.
He said bedroll.
Bedroll. Survey says.
Oh, steal. Team Clean steals.
86.
86 says Team Engelstein.
Right, Team Clean gets 86 points. There you go. All right. Team Clean gets 86.
Oh.
What's that out to, Jeff? 86 and 75. Go. See, it's like having a calculator. It's awesome.
You thought you weren't going to work this year.
All right.
1 feet 6 inches. Is that what you're going to put
All
up
right.
there?
We're doing another who would win challenge, right? We got to get 4 back up here.
Okay,
Right?
4 back
All right,
up.
come on, 4 back up. Right, because did everybody?
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. We're on 6.
Is this the last who would win challenge?
Yeah, last
Okay.
who would win. There were 2
So
more
this
categories.
is it. This is the last face-off.
Last face off, and then we do each side, and we're done. We'll do the final points here. All right, here we go.
Assign topics.
Here we go. All right, back up a second. Sorry about this. My app is not super fast, apparently. All right, here we go. Your person is Buzz Lightyear.
What is the question? Now you're living my life on a Wednesday.
How would Buzz Lightyear win a screaming contest? What would make him good at it? How would he win a screaming contest?
Buzz Lightyear. Why would he be good at a screaming contest?
Yep. Why would he be?
Yeah.
whatever. You got to justify why he'd win the contest. Is screaming.
Because he's got purified oxygen in that suit.
Okay, it's the
All right,
purified
pretty good.
oxygen.
Purified oxygen. Your character is Goofy. Goofy, like from Disney. Yes.
He has no shame.
That's true.
He has no
Goofy
shame. I
has
like
no
it.
shame.
All right, your character is Will I Am. That feels like a softball.
Will I Am would be awesome because he's got all those mad beats.
He does it. Okay,
There's lots
fair
of
enough.
mad beats there.
And your character is Darth Vader.
Why
That's
would he be good in a
screaming.
screaming match?
I have to pick one reason.
Yeah,
Like,
maybe it's before he's in the suit. Or while
it didn't
he's
say
getting-
Anakin Skywalker.
Because he has like robot. He has like a mask that has like volume that he can just turn up.
All right, that's fair.
Nice.
All right, judges, who wins that round?
I'm going to Darth Vader.
Darth Vader.
And
Yeah.
you go ahead.
Pick one after Darth Vader. Goofy.
Goofy.
All right.
No inhibitions.
Goofy
I like
Vader.
it too.
All
Okay.
right.
All right.
Come on down for your two teams' last challenge. The other two teams get a challenge, and then we're going to wrap it up. All right, guys, here we go. Get ready. Here we go. All right, here we go.
Just till they get it going.
Thousands were asked. Some number answered. Top 5 answers on the board.
I really hope my opponent doesn't.
Wrong.
All right.
Okay.
What do you say?
Crit hit.
Crit hit.
Crit hit. Let me check my...
Top 5 answers on the board.
Crit hit would be... Sorry.
Win.
Win.
Oh.
Win.
Win?
Win. Nice.
Yes. Player
pass.
Player pass. Player pass.
Player pass. Play. They're going to play.
All right, they're going to play.
Okay.
I like their style.
All right. I really hope my opponent doesn't
Cheat.
cheat.
We'll go with...
Not
be a bad sport,
be a bad
rude, or
sport.
cheat. That was all those in
Rude.
their one
Okay.
category.
Okay.
Yep.
Nice.
All right.
Top 3. No. Yeah.
Top
3 answers still on
remaining.
the board.
Notice that I'm cheating.
Notice that I'm cheating. Oh.
Sorry. That's
Okay.
your
I
first
hope
strike.
my opponent
That's only your
doesn't
first strike.
take too long.
Take too long.
Nice.
Have analysis
paralysis. Okay.
All right.
2 answers remain. I hope my opponent doesn't
Figure out my strategy.
figure out my
Figure out my
strategy.
One strike remaining. You have one remaining. I got that wrong.
Russ messed up with the
Yeah.
strikes again.
Yep.
Smell bad.
I hope my opponent doesn't smell bad.
Forget the shower.
Nice.
Number one answer.
Okay.
Number one answer. Forget the shower.
All right. There's one answer remaining.
Quit.
I hope my opponent doesn't quit.
Right. Chance to steal.
It's a tough steal. It's
Chance
a
to
tough
steal.
steal.
Tough steal. Don't forget, if you answer the question, go ahead and grab a prize.
Anybody?
We're not taking all this home.
I hope my
Go, go.
opponent doesn't die. That's grim. Oh, cry. That's pretty bad too.
Cry.
That was no. That was not an
All right.
actual answer. What's that? Rules lawyer.
Rules lawyer. That is a great answer.
Oh.
All right. How many points is that, Jeff?
95 points.
The missing answer was?
Team Zombie.
Flip the table.
Flip the table.
The internet. What are you going to do?
I had a girlfriend do that once.
So who got the 95 points there?
Oh, he didn't. Russ, you didn't reveal the answers they didn't get in the
It was
last.
flip the table. It was just
No, in the last one, the last question.
Sorry. I'll come back to that. So who got the 95 points?
It was Team Zombies.
Team Zombies? Jeff, quick math on that.
Now they're all showing off.
You guys are good at math. You know, this is a math class either.
McNerdigans, come on! After 7 rounds, Zombie.
Which one did I not reveal? I'll go back at the end. how's that?
Okay.
We won't lose our.
Why don't you go ahead and.
Yeah,
there,
wrap
okay.
it up. All right, here we
After
go.
7 rounds,
After
Zombie
7 rounds.
at 153, Geekly McNerdigans with 80, Review Pandemic with 135, and Team Clean with 161.
Team Clean. In position for a big win. All right, here we go.
Okay.
We got 2 members of
We
the.
need 2 members of the remaining 2 teams.
Come on down, the guys that came in second and third and fourth up here. All right. All right,
I really feel that game can outlast its welcome.
Thousands were asked, some number answered. Top 6 questions on the board. Answer the board.
Deodorant.
All right. Do it again.
Deodorant.
All right, deodorant. Deodorant got it. See how we do that? It's called a tiebreaker. All right. What do you got?
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Oh, number one answer.
Number one answer.
Player
They're going to
pass.
play.
All right.
All right. I don't remember the question.
A soundtrack.
Oh, to play while
During
you're
a
playing a
sci-fi
sci-fi game.
Yep. Top 5 answers remain. According to the internet. Not me.
2001.
2001, A Space Odyssey.
Oh, strike one.
Blade Runner.
Blade Runner.
Blade Runner. That's a pretty deep answer. Do you think the internet thought of that? Oh, yes, they did.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yes,
Number
they did.
3.
All right.
Star Trek.
Star Trek.
Oh.
No, they didn't. They didn't like that one.
What?
Matrix.
The Matrix.
Matrix. That's a great answer.
Oh.
Chance to steal.
Chance to steal.
4 answers on the board.
Battlestar Galactica.
Battlestar
Oh.
Galactica.
I love that answer, Ross, and I play that one all the time. But
Oh.
no,
I can
50
do the math. 50 points.
Let's see what the chances were according to the internet. Number 2.
Number 2, Aliens. Number 4, Terminator. Number 5, Tron Legacy.
I know.
It's the internet.
It's the internet. And number 6, Mass Effect. Pretty good, but I don't know if it beats Battlestar. All right. So 50 points to
50 points.
All right, here we go.
No, that was Team Clean.
Team Clean. Team Clean gets 50 points. Oh, my goodness. I think they walked away with it. Even I can do that math. Woo!
Okay.
All right.
So after 8 rounds,
Right.
it's Geekly McNerdigans with 80. Woohoo! Review Pandemic with 135. Zombeats with 153. And Team Clean with 211.
Right. All right. So first, everybody who just gave an answer, please come down and get a prize.
Yeah,
and then the winning team, Team Clean, form up a line and you all get another prize run.
There you
Come on
go.
down.
Kind of like a trench run.
Yeah.
But nobody's
there it is.
shooting at you.
All right. What did I not reveal? Was there a round I missed? Oh, the Adventurer's Backpack?
Adventurer's Backpack.
Adventurer's Backpack.
I forgot which round that was. All right. So number 1.
Oh, we
There
can't
we go.
see.
You'll have to read
guys,
it
can you
because
just tighten in a little bit there so we can
I
see
got it.
it?
I can make it.
Russ,
So the number 1 answer was
read it.
50-foot rope. We know that one. Number 2 was the pole.
That's for you,
Number 3
Phil.
was torches. Number 4 was flint and
Flint
steel.
and steel.
5 was lock picks.
Lockpicks.
Is that
Lock
what
picks. That's a good one.
My wizard always carries lockpicks.
I know, right? Number 6 was rations. I think we had that one. 7 was a bedroll.
And number 8, a mirror.
Ross knew about mirror. It's a big backpack. I don't know. All right, well.
Yeah, no healing potions. Nice.
So everyone, we're not taking any prizes home, so come on down and help yourself to what's ever remaining. And also, we do have D6G poker chips made out of ceramic, enough for everyone. So coming up here, we'll start handing them out. I have a big box of them. So thank you, everyone, for coming. And
Thank you very much for coming, everybody.
This is Total Fangirl. Regular Jane most days, total fangirl when the moment strikes. Han shot first. Starbuck is a guy. And Lestat, now there's a vampire. Hey everyone, this is Nicole, your Total Fangirl. You can follow me on Twitter at Nicole Winklen and check out my blog, TotalFangirl.com. Our shout out is to all of our wonderful supporters over at Patreon. Head to patreon.com/the D6 Generation. You too can support the show and we appreciate it very much. So it's been a few weeks now and we have mostly kind of sort of recovered from our great GenCon adventure. I had a fantastic time. The kids had a fantastic time. And yes, there were RPGs played. Dean once again hosted a wonderful RPG for everybody. It was the first time that the girls joined in, and they thought it was fantastic. They were really nervous playing with grown-ups and that it was going to go terribly. But I told them that most grown-ups are pretty cool, and these grown-ups are friends of ours, and it'll go just fine. And it did. It was wonderful. It was a Guardians of the Galaxy style RPG. It was very fun. Russ was an incredible Groot. You can't believe how much that man can emote the words, I am Groot, when he wants to. It was wonderful. We really enjoyed it. And there were just lots of games in general that were played during the course of things. The kids spent a lot of time. They gathered games that they purchased and they ended up playing them in their room, with a couple of their other friends. So they just took over our hotel room. The adults were like, yeah, okay, fine. You guys do that. We're going to get some food. They're like, we don't need food. We're going to play some games. So I can see exactly where this will be going in a few more years when they're old enough to just wander off by themselves. It was a fantastic GenCon. As I understand, it was bigger this year than any other year. I want to say 70,000 people attended. I might be off on that number. It did feel very crowded, unfortunately. But, it's part of the thing about going to a convention is that there's the crazed mobs of people who all want to go in and all want to see everything. There were, as usual, tons of vendors selling all sorts of wonderful, nerdy stuff. Our kids got adventure cases that they're using for their D&D stuff, and they broke them out finally last night before. They played D&D with their cousins. These are the cases. I think I mentioned them before, but they're like wooden boxes that open up, and they have a felt pad where you can roll your dice. And the way the lid sort of forms against the bottom, it makes like a little DM screen so nobody can see what you're doing. It's really very cool. And the girls thought that they were awesome, and their cousins thought that they were awesome, so that they thought that was a pretty big deal. So that was one of the highlights for them, was picking up those adventure cases live and in person, and then taking them home and getting to play games with their cousins the other night. So once again, a fantastic GenCon. It was wonderful to see everybody. To all those of you who listened to the show and stopped to say hello and greeted us, we loved meeting you. I really do love meeting people, especially when you have those, oh, I'm so-and-so on Twitter, because I don't know your real name is, Bob Jones, but when you say I'm, Landshark or whatever, suddenly I'm like, aha, now I know who you are. So it was wonderful to meet you guys. I hope everyone who went to GenCon had as much of a good time as we did, and I cannot wait for next year.
Hey, now it's time to talk about our friends at Geek Nation Tours.
Geek Nation Tours!
And I still cannot get over their awesome new website, Craig. It looks so cool.
There's so many cool things that are right. You know what's really cool is they've got this clearly jazzed up little blurb at the beginning. Loving a thing and shouting about it at the top of your lungs, hopefully while wearing a cape and looking down from a tall building. That's what Geek Nation Tours is all about.
Yeah.
It's all about love.
It's awesome. And I think this new website is just fantastic, Terrace. Nice job on that. But you know what? There's all this fancy stuff on here, but let's cut to the chase. What you really want to click on at the top of this page is the tours link. So there's, under the words Geek Nation Tours, there's little buttons there, little links there. One says tours. Just click right on that and behold the awesome as your eyes are met with a veritable cornucopia, Craig.
Cornucopia.
I would say they have a plethora of tours to choose
Another good word.
Whether it's the Mexican gaming holiday, whether it's Geek Nation Tours, the Order of the Phoenix.
Ooh, Order of the Phoenix.
Yeah,
tour.
You want to check out what's going on with all the Harry Potter stuff in the UK. Check it out there. How about you want to go to Essen in Germany? There's no better way to see Essen than with Geek Nation Tours.
And you know what? He's now branching out into other kinds of geeks. Sports geeks. There's a bowling tour.
Yeah.
Zombie geeks. There's Zombie Training 101.
Craig, have you seen this one? Got Dragons, Geek Nation Tours. You going to see Game of Thrones stuff in Iceland? What?
I am so in. So many cool things. Oh.
And there's something about Terrace's business plan, Russ. It is so successful, and his stuff is so good that he was mentioned as one of the most innovative businessmen in Canada.
That's right. He
Recently.
appeared, yes, the Alberta Venture Magazine, I believe, was the magazine.
That was it.
So fantastic. So congratulations to Terrace and the folks over at Geek Nation Tours. And if you are a traveling geek, you really owe it to yourself to really just have a little splurge and really check out the Geek Nation Tours options.
If you're not a traveling geek, but you're a geek, you owe it to yourself to become a traveling geek.
Yes.
And if you're going to travel, there's no better way in the world to travel as a geek than Geek Nation Tours.
That's right. GeekNationTours.com.
Huzzah!
I'm Rafe Hollywood Granger, and this is the Hollywood Minute.
Welcome to another edition of the Hollywood Minute. I'm your host, Rafe Hollywood Granger. Today's beverage of choice is a Dos Equis without a lime, and it is a beautiful August summer day here in New England. Got a lot to talk to you about today. Let's see. Topics of conversation for today are Non-Con, Frostgrave, Wrath of Dragons, a Flick gunfighter game that I can't recall the name of, Dragon Age on the computer, and iPhone. Let's start with Non-Con. So Greg Ivany and old Andy and I got together while everybody was away at GenCon, the Saturday of GenCon, and we had a little game session over at Greg's house. We had a little barbecue, a little potato salad, some of my new favorite beverage, which is It's Not Your Father's Root Beer or Not Your Daddy's Root Beer, something like that. Oh my gosh, it's like root beer, but beer. It is a little sweet to the palate, but I have a sweet tooth. I love root beer, so highly recommend that. Be careful, though. The alcohol content on that is like that of an IPA. It's not a summer session ale, that's for sure. But played a little Guild Ball. Greg took me through some Guild Ball. You know, I was prepared to not really like the game. I want to like sports games, but I end up not liking them because you have to do some pretty far ahead thinking and some strategic planning. I really did like Guild Ball. I think they've got a great game there. Would I play it without the help of Greg Ivany? What do I mean by that? You know, Greg was nice enough, even though it was a learning game. I would need this type of tutelage beyond a learning game. You know, he was nice enough to be like, hey, Rafe, you know, you might want to pass there to get momentum, and don't forget that in order for you to shoot that ball, you're going to need momentum, or whatever the currency of the game was. So even though it was a learning game, I can be pretty much sure that I wouldn't do so good without that kind of help. So I could see myself getting pretty frustrated. But a pretty fun game. I can see why a lot of people like it, and I also can see that it's pretty strategic and tactical without being too mind-bending. And it's got a faster pace to it, so I haven't listened to the review of it yet on the D6 generation, but I want to hear it. I want to hear what those guys did. I think they did a great job. Also played Splendor over there at Greg's. We must have played this like 6 to 8 games in a row. I highly recommend that game. The theme of it is you're building gems. You're acquiring gems as a gem merchant. Very fun. I like the heft of the chips, and a good game there. Then over at Games Night, I had a chance to watch Frostgrave. Watched Russ and Ian play. That's been the new flavor that's ripped through our gaming club. Cool theme. It looks like a light skirmish game, a fluffy skirmish game. You manage this wizard, if you would, and this apprentice, and you hire these other soldiers. And what's really cool about it is you can use your own miniatures of any type. You can use bones. I'm actually using my War Machine figures to represent a warband. I'm using figures that you don't normally see, like Winter Guard and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool. I also have this idea, if we really get into the game, of using mice to create a whole anthropomorphic, how do you say that? I don't know, I can't say it, but of creating all mice. Thought that would be cool. I was looking at the Dark Sword miniatures for that. So we watched a game, and it looked pretty fun. Russ was having a good time, and it wasn't Russ and Ian. It was Russ was using Ian's army, and Craig was playing his army. Looks fun. I'm looking forward to getting a game in. And then played Wrath of Dragons, which Wakeland brought out, and it's a Euro game with dragons. You play these dragons like swooping in on these villages, and that was a fun game. I would definitely play that again. That was a Rafe game. I rate that a 4 out of 5. And what else? Oh, and then Randy had this Flick gunfighter game. It was in this beautiful wooden box, and these you kind of set up this western shootout alley with cacti and wagons and buildings, and you have these Flick. You play teams, and you flick these little discs, and you knock out the western guys from the other side. And that looked fun. I watched Randy play it before, and then I'm not do so well with Flick games, but we played it. It was me, Dave, and Blake versus Randy, Russ, and Craig, and we had a really good time with that. That game comes in missions, and we played one mission. I would definitely play a second mission. I liked it so much that I'd almost buy it, but then again, it wouldn't be anybody I would play with, I'm sure. I always think my kids are going to play it, and then I break it out and they hate it or something. I can't remember the official name of it, but if you put Flick Games, Western, or Gunfighters, you should be able to pop that up. Hold on a second. I'm right here. I can check. All right, here it is. Flick 'em up. Really cool. I like that. If you like Flick games, Dave is like a wizard of the Flick, so it was fun to have him on the team. And then I busted out Dragon Age Inquisition on the PC. Don't know what prompted that. I was just sort of sitting here. I was looking for a good adventure game, a good crafting game, and I'm like, you know what? Let me give Dragon Age a try. I'm only about 3/4 of the way through that. I had so I'm having a fun time with that. Probably logged in another 4 hours doing some side missions. I play a dwarven warrior, of course, with a mace and shield. Can't remember how to do any of the crafting or any of the thematics, so I'll have to spend some time Googling that. And let's see. Looking forward to hearing what everybody has to say about GenCon. And yeah, that's about it. Oh, iPhone. So I've had an iPhone 6 Plus for all this time, and I've absolutely hated it. It's too big. It's too big for the pocket. It's too big when you put it in a case, and I have to carry it around in a case because I've already broke one of them. Everybody loves them. I know I'm in the minority. So I found a buddy of mine who has an iPhone 6, so he and I have traded. We're on the same carrier, so we swapped SIM cards. So I'm kind of field testing the iPhone 6, and I am much happier with that than the 6 Plus. But I know, I'm in the minority with that. Well, let's see. I think that's it for now. Looking forward to, again, hearing what the game it is all from GenCon's gonna be. And until next time, I'm Rafe Granger. You can follow me mainly on Twitter, is where I've been doing most of my posting, and of course here on the Hollywood Minute of the D6 generation. Until next time, happy gaming.
Hey, welcome back. And now, Craig.
Yes, Russ.
I think we need to share our thoughts now that we are home safe and sound from our great GenCon adventure.
Oh, the adventure of a lifetime.
It is the adventure of a lifetime.
Every year.
So let's talk about GenCon 2015. You've heard the achievements in gaming and the thoughts as people geared up from our event there on what they were thinking about being excited about. Of course, later you're going to hear the play by mob, but we're going to share with you now our thoughts on the games, what we saw, what we bought, what GenCon was like, this year. Oh, been on a debate about that, Craig. Been a lot of debate about
that. What's the debate?
I'm seeing some long-standing friends of mine who go to GenCon regularly are kind of complaining it's too crowded. You know what? I'm not sure I can agree with that. There's definitely more people. Definitely the numbers came out and they had like 70 some odd thousand unique attendees, right, this year?
Yeah.
So it's huge. When we first started going to GenCon, when I first went, I believe the number was something like 24 or 25,000.
So I believe it might have even been less than that the first time when before you even went, when Rafe and I went.
Yeah, so it's at least tripled.
Yeah.
Since we started going,
absolutely.
2009, 2010, the last 5 or 6 years, right? So it's at least
it
tripled.
feels like a totally different event.
It's much, much bigger, granted. And yet, I think a lot of the things people complain about were always there, though.
Well, it's interesting that you should mention that because it makes me feel like we move in two different circles of friends because everybody I talked to said that Thursday felt really, really crowded. They were very nervous. And then everything seemed to smooth out and they felt even though there were huge crowds, it didn't have as much of an impact as last year and something had been done that smoothed things out so that it wasn't as like last year I was saying I didn't know if I wanted to go back. So I mean so if that's happening, you know something's going on.
No, I
but
feel
this
like,
year, Thursday was huge. It was crazy. It was ridiculous.
Thursday was crazy, yes.
It felt like a Saturday in the old days.
It did. And Saturday did not feel as crowded for some reason.
No, it didn't. And that's the thing. I don't know whether it was because they had so many more events, because their events, there's so many. There's thousands upon thousands of events now spread all through the central Indianapolis.
Yeah.
And it's almost, I mean, it's not there yet, but it's almost at a Disney level if you can pack that many people into such a compact area and have them scheduled and spread out so that it doesn't feel like that many people.
Yeah, I agree with you. I felt exactly the same way. I thought Thursday was crazy. But then as the weekend progressed, I felt like it got more under control. And I felt it was really that initial surge to buy all the hotness.
Yeah.
That was what kicked it off. And then afterwards it really calmed down and I felt like I could get around, I could find things, I felt like I could get through the vendor hall. And there's a couple of spots, usual, but I remember us complaining about backpacks and, jams and people too busy, chatting in the middle of the aisle. That's always been part of, that's just conventions. That's just crowd.
The only new thing this year that I will add to now that everything's over and done with, the only new thing that I'm adding to my pet peeve is people walking around with their phones on. Like this is the walking through the convention hall experience, which apparently we have something called Periscope to thank for that.
Yes, Periscope is the problem.
And I don't know what the root cause is, but it's rude for you to walk around not looking where you're going and hitting people with your camera.
Yeah, it's like texting and walking. Just don't do it.
It's almost worse than texting and walking because it adds a weird depth perception issue.
Yeah.
Other than that, I saw people. One thing may have gotten more intense, but it's always been there, and that's the wheeled contrivance in the vendor hall.
The wheeled contrivance?
If you do not need something, like if you have a need for a assistance, a wheeled assistance, I want you in there. I want you with the best of them. I want everybody giving you the right of way. But if you've got a piece of flippin' furniture or luggage, you shouldn't be there with your luggage wheeling it around. It doubles the length of your footprint in the hall, and you don't remember it's there.
Plus, you have plenty of places to check that bag. So
yeah, you absolutely do. And you know what? This is going to be controversial. I'm gonna go there because controversial is one of the things in our little mission statement.
It is.
If you have a young child, then sacrifice is part of being a parent. Okay, and you might have to give up 1 or 2 years of GenCon. That's all I'm gonna say because I mean the teeny little babies I saw not wandering because they can't move on their own, lugged around GenCon. Okay. I climbed a mountain yesterday with my son, who's 5, and that was ridiculous and stupid, and I've already realized, wow, this was dumb. We went all the way to the top of a mountain and back down again. I felt like, halfway up, man, maybe I'm not the best dad in the world. And then I met a guy going down with a baby strapped to his chest and another baby strapped to his back.
See?
Okay, there are places you shouldn't go with babies.
Well, no, I differ with you a little bit. I think in a baby Bjorn, which is the transport where said baby is strapped to your chest, hey man, if you can handle that and you can get around doing that and you want to hike a mountain with that and give your kids some fresh air, more power to you. If you can do a con, you don't take that much more space. I mean, they're smaller than a backpack.
That's what I'm saying. That's why it's controversial.
It's the stroller.
The strollers kill me. And you know what? When your kid is 4, he shouldn't be in a stroller anyway.
So the stroller, you got to downsize to the micro strollers, people. You can't be bringing in the big land train strollers that are double wide or double long.
And I know it sucks, and I know you really want to go to GenCon, but that is part of being a parent.
Strap the Bjorn on. Get some exercise.
Strap
all I'm
your
saying.
3-year-old to your chest.
Strap your kid to your. I mean, I am a dad who carried my kids around on a Bjorn, and I went on hikes and everything, and I loved it.
I'm not finding fault with hikes.
No.
This was a mountain.
No, I get it. Or mountain, or whatever.
But I think hikes are awesome.
But
and
I've
that guy was jacked.
I've
so
seen
I'm
the
sure his
I've
kids
seen
were
the dads
totally
with like
safe.
kids strapped all over him. I'm like, more power to you, dude. If you can pull that off.
He looked like a Sherpa.
Or the moms, because all moms do too. But it's the stroller. I think that's the challenge. And while I get it, you certainly could bring the stroller. Just be conscientious of the fact that you are taking up room for 4 with that thing or whatever. So anyway, enough griping.
But as you said, other than the Periscope thing, these are all issues that we've had in years past. And I have to say, after Thursday, they weren't quite as bad as I was afraid they were going to be.
I agree. I got to remember. So let's talk about one thing I think was also better than last year, Craig, and you tell me if I'm wrong on this. A couple vendors did some neat tricks, and I have to say I like what Privateer Press did the most. And I know I'm a fanboy, but I'm going to say this anyway. So in prior years, when you would go to a vendor's booth that is really, really popular, like a Privateer Press or a Fantasy Flight Games, or in this case, Asmodee this year, because they had a huge hot game too, the lines, and it was more than just them, I'm just rattling some examples off.
Yeah.
The lines can get really, really long to the point where it's a problem because you're blocking multiple halls and then you're crossing things and the
Never cross the things.
Yeah, the staff at GenCon does a really good job, and the staff of the booths actually work really hard to keep make sure the line has got a gap in it so that the aisles can be clear. They try, but you just take up a lot of space. And so I think a couple different companies tried something different. I like what Privateer Press did. So what Privateer Press did was there was always a sign. The line into the booth was never more than 4 or 5 people long. And they had a guy at the end of the line with a sign, and it says, "We're currently taking people who are scheduled to come into the booth between 11 and 11:30. If you don't have a ticket, ask for one." So this works exactly the same as Disney Fast Pass for those who've been to Walt Disney World. So you go up to the guy and say, "Can I have a ticket to visit the booth?" And he says, "Sure." Return at 2 o'clock, and your ticket says 2 to 2:30, and you can come into the booth. And then when you come back at 2 o'clock, there's only a few people ahead of you. You get right in. The booth is not mobbed. You can go walk around, pick up your stuff. Now, granted, if you don't get until later in the day, some of the things you wanted to buy were gone, but you just get in there early and get one of those early tickets and you get in sooner. So it was really a very, because when the line forms, they're just handing out tickets and you just quickly leave, right? So it's done. I thought this was really smart. Fantasy Flight did something a little similar, but not quite. You still could, was still a massive line to get into the fantasy booth to buy stuff. So whatever they did wasn't quite as effective. But I really like this idea that you can.
No, I think that you'll see that more. That almost strikes me as going to the level of how come no one thought of this sooner?
Yeah,
and I think you'll see a lot of that.
I just do it, and it would make it much easier.
You know what it takes? It takes prior planning, and in the gaming industry in particular, these guys are super excited about their product, but they're not so good at prior planning.
Yeah, so I hope everybody does that. I did that. I went on the first day. I didn't go to Privateer Press first. I got over there. It was like 11 o'clock. I finally got my ticket. It said come back at 5. I'm like, wow. And I was like, well, it is what it is. I'll put it in my pocket. If I'm still around at 5, I'll come back in. I happened to be around at 5, went back in. They still had Undercity, which is the game I was all excited about. I picked it up. I got a couple of other books and some paints for my kids and stuff. And I was in and out in like 10 minutes. And I knew the rest of my day was all scheduled. So I was really pleased with how that works. So, the other thing, Craig, I noticed, and you tell me, so I like that these guys are innovating and figuring out better ways to do that. But the other thing I noticed that I thought was cool was this year, I felt that more of the games I was excited about were there to buy.
You're not the first person to say that.
I think in last year, it was sort of like there was lots of cool games, but it was all like coming soon on Kickstarter or coming later. And so you're kind of sitting there saying, this is awesome, except I don't get to buy anything. Whereas this year it was more like, ooh, this is cool and it's here. Awesome.
Yeah.
Did you find that?
No. Yeah, I found I didn't buy any games, but
well, you were good, very good discipline.
Well, I don't know about that. But yeah, you are. I didn't see any look at demo this game. It's coming out on Kickstarter soon. Right. I ran into 2 of those last year. One of which I was super excited about, and it never made it to Kickstarter.
Yeah. See?
So to me, going to Gen Con to gin up excitement about your Kickstarter campaign, I will actually walk away from your booth. I won't do it anymore because I don't care about it if it hasn't started yet. I want Gen Con for me is all about immediate instant gratification. Right. It's about walking by a booth, doing a demo, going, oh my God, I want this game, and buying it.
Yes.
It is not about play testing something for you unless you sign up for that, because there's a lot of cool stuff like that going on too, and we'll talk about it in a little bit. But it's not about like, you getting me excited about a Kickstarter that's going to start in 8 months and then I'm going to get it in a year and a half.
Now, I think a little bit of what happened, and this could be frustrating for some people, but I don't know how much of it was there because in the last year or so, I kind of pulled back on a lot of Kickstarters and I really
me too.
was waiting for them to come out. And so one of the things I did was when, what I thought was cool was some of the Kickstarters that were hot were there. So for example, Stronghold Games was demoing, Space Cadets, away missions, and they were also demoing or showing Survive, Space Attack, but they also had piles of those games you could buy. And even Cool Mini or Not, and was showing some of their new hotness from recent Kickstarters like Rum and Bones, and they were showing Blood Rage, but they also had them there to buy.
Right.
Now,
exactly.
So it was awesome, and they actually had all the Kickstarter bonuses there to buy too, which was kind of scary because there you're sitting there going, ooh, if I get this game, there's the cool better dice, there's the cool metal coins that replace the wooden, the cardboard coins, and there's the 3 other expansions, all right there. Holy crap, I'm about to drop $400 in this one game,
Right, yeah, oh, absolutely.
So it was very dangerous,
yeah.
But it was cool. Now, one thing I heard though, there's still some of that going on where some of these were Kickstarters that were backed and the backers haven't been shipped the game yet.
Oh, that's bad.
But there was at least 1 or 2 companies where if you came in with your Kickstarter ID, they would give you the game right there.
Well,
which was cool. So if you made the
yeah.
trek to GenCon, you could get your game. And I don't know how many guys did that, but I know at least 1 or 2 that I went up to. I asked them specifically, hey, and they were like, yep, we do that. If you got your Kickstarter ID, come in, we'll hook you up. So I think that's really cool. And if companies do that, then I think they should definitely, get some of that revenue back right there from GenCon.
Yeah. Well, it's still hard though. I mean, if you're from Timbuktu, you're not going to be able to make it to GenCon.
Well, no, I get that, but if they're shipping it now to you and you're going to get it at the same time.
Oh yeah, no. If they're shipping
happen
it,
to get the GenCon,
to me that's a different thing. If it's in the mail, that's one thing. If it's delayed, we're going to have it soon. Oh, we happen to have a bunch of GenCon. That's different. All right, but no. If they're shipping already, then that's
Yeah, so let's share some of the exciting things we did, Craig, at GenCon this year.
All right, Russ.
So the opening. So what time you got in Wednesday, right? So did I.
Yeah, we got in within about a half hour of each
which
other.
worked out well because we had to coordinate all that. And then Wednesday we really just got there, but Terrace, of course, and Geek Nation Tours was kind enough to invite us and the Nerd Herders to their big kickoff dinner Wednesday night.
Yes, they were at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse again.
Chris Steakhouse, which is always a good steak.
So good.
Oh my goodness. So thank you very much to Terrace. And all
Geek
the
Nation Tours. Now, here, I just wanted to say very quickly, Geek Nation Tours, even among people who enjoy group travel, Geek Nation Tours is like the vacation of a lifetime for a non-gamer, considering how much time and effort Terrace puts into advance work and going ahead of time, making sure you've got everything lined up. So it was so cool talking to these guys about what they were going to get a chance to do and who they were meeting. It's really neat to be a part of that original, that welcome dinner. Very cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. So that was fantastic. So thank you so much, Terrace. And it was great to meet all the various touring folk. Some of them returning from last year, so we had a chance to meet them last year. So it was great to say hi to them.
A lot of very nice Canadians. They referred to themselves as the good Canadians. I don't know.
Yes,
You'll have to
there
take
was
that up with them.
only one American, actually. A lot of Canadians, a lot of some Europeans. It was great. Great fun to chat with those folks. Always fun to share the excitement of GenCon. It's the first night, so we're all excited. It's great.
You were sitting on my right, and we talked all night, and I can't remember your name, so you can slap me the next time we meet. But I really enjoyed meeting you and the 2 Canadian guys in the end. And the very, very quiet guy. No, wait, you were sitting across from me to the right. And the young man sitting directly to my right was very quiet, but he was really nice. I mean, everybody was really nice. And it's awesome. And that's the part of the whole thing is that you're traveling with people who have your same likes and interests. And so eating a meal with them is very cool because it's almost like you have a common language that you immediately just slide into.
By the way, Craig, did you see that the Terrace made the cover of Alberta Venture magazine?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, so Alberta Venture magazine, it basically is like, I guess, sort of like a Forbes kind of magazine, but for Alberta, Canada. And they had a huge spread with Terrace on the front of the year's greatest innovators. And Terrace is one of them around building Geek Nation Tours. He bills him as the king of the geeks. King of the geeks. So good job.
Of the geeks.
Good job on you, Terrace. And if you live in Alberta, pick up that issue. I think you'll find it very interesting.
Very cool.
So that was the first night. So then Thursday, of course, the big day. And the thing about Thursday that makes it a little weird is you, as a member of the press,
Yeah.
And this is something Gen Con still hasn't fixed, and I'm not really entirely sure why they do it this way.
Yeah,
But,
well, I am. It's easy.
Okay, so
it's
that could be
inertia.
it.
It's
So
nothing but human inertia.
They don't mail out press badges for some reason at Gen Con. It's the only convention that does this. We get press badges for PAX, we get press badges for Comic-Con, all these other event conventions. Nicole goes to like them all. She goes to automotive presses. Almost all of them mail them out because you really want to make it easy for press to get in there and cover your event, right? Clearly.
Yeah.
So what happens though is for some reason, Terrace, well, not Terrace, but for some reason, I've got an echo here. I'm going to fix my echo. Craig, can you explain what's going on there while I continue to
Yeah, what happens is people, we have to go and the room does not open until 7 o'clock, I think, or 7:30. And so, you all go to the press room and you line up and you get your press badge. The thing is that were over 500 press badges given out this year. Only 100 are allowed to get their early entrance into the vendor hall, which is an hour-long time where there's no crowds. There's probably only 1,000 people in there, which is a vanishingly small percentage given how huge Gen Con is now. So for an hour, you can talk directly to the designers and the sellers and the booth people. You're not supposed to buy anything if you're press, although if you wave cash in front of people, they will generally take it. But for the most part, you're in there to get short little interviews, little snippets of sound. You're not supposed to do full demos. You're just supposed to because mainly it's there for the VIGs, the people who pay ridiculous sums of money. But the thing is, so you've got 500 people all lining up at 7:30 in the morning. And it gets ridiculous and we counted, Dave and I got there at 7:15 in the morning and we were 50th and 51st in line. By the time they opened the door, we were in the 70s. Yeah. So over 20 people had infiltrated into the line ahead of us, which is not right. So it violates several social contracts, but that's beside the point.
What I think's they should do, honestly. And this is press world problems. I get it. But what I think they should do is they should mail the press badges out. And as a member of the press, I would gladly pay $10, $5, whatever it is to get my press badge mailed to me. I recognize I'm getting it for free. So the benefit is I don't have to pay for my badge, right?
Right.
Because I'm covering the convention. And one of the advantages for getting in early, what I like to do is I actually like to take pictures of stuff. And it's much easier to take pictures of the miniatures and everything else because a lot of this stuff is facing the aisles. And you have mobs of people you can't get in closer, jostling you. And I tweet it, and of course, unlike a lot of people, we have a substantial amount of followers, so it's good for Gen Con for people with press to do that, right? So, I'm not bragging, I'm just saying that's why.
That's true. One thing that I'm going to say right up front, which is why another reason I think they don't do this mailing out thing is because, just to put the secret out there, you get a blog with 1 or 2 entries, they're going to give you a press pass to Gen Con.
Well, that's
crazy.
That's the problem. There's 2 problems. The first problem is they should mail them out. Second problem is they tell everyone online that they will not, if you don't get your press badge request in by a certain date, you will not get one. Yeah. That's fair. But then,
and that they're going to check on you.
Right. But then while you're in line, you can fill out the form and request a press badge and get it right there.
And nobody's checking.
So I don't know how they're validating this. And I don't even want to make it complicated. I'm cool if Gen Con's really lax about press badges. That's great.
Yeah.
But at least have the cutoff day so people aren't in line filling out paperwork, right? That should happen.
Although, you know what? It's crazy because there was a real actual journalist from the local newspaper who had not been given a press pass and had to fill out all of his the poor guy showed up. Like, I was told to show up here, and they were like, oh, yeah, you got to fill out the paperwork and wait in that long line. I mean, can you imagine being an actual journalist where you're not a gamer? This is your job.
I'm from CBS. Can I get it?
And that's how you're treated? Right. The
other part is, I get having to wait in line to get in early. Like, I don't even.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely.
Mail me my press badge, and then if I want to get in early, make me stand in line. But otherwise, just, that's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. I know it's first world problem, so I'm just saying.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
But anyway, we got our press badges. And Nicole happened to be the last person to get early admission. I figured we wouldn't make it. So she did. So she gave it to me. Because I couldn't go with my kids either. So I wasn't figuring I was going to get in with my family anyway. But I went in because I wanted to get some pictures and I didn't go in early last year. And I had a great time. I got a lot of great pictures. I got to figure out where things were. I knew the big boots I wanted to hit. And also I got a chance to talk to some people, got a nice chance to chat with the Gale Force 9 folks. I got a chance to chat with Stephen Bonacore about what he had there and what he was excited about and what they were promoting. even before anybody was there. Because once it's open, they're rightly so. All the folks from these game companies are trying to demo and sell their products. So they don't really. It's a hard time to talk to the press. Even if they want to talk to the press, you can't hear each other because everybody's talking around you. So it's a great time to really kind of get in there and talk to the folks you want to talk to. So we got that going on, and then the day started in full swing. Right?
Oh my God! At 10 o'clock, you don't have to look at your watch. You know when it's 10 o'clock and they've opened the doors because the atmosphere in the
roar of awesome
in the exhibition hall totally changes.
And it's funny. So I have 2 daughters. My one daughter loves that experience. So my youngest daughter, Kit, she's like, yeah, we're in the crowd. Woo. And Rose hates it. Rose is kind of like you, Craig. She's like, I don't want to be in this whole mess. I just want to wait and I'll go in after everybody else is in there. I'd rather, is there a side door? So I guess it depends on your personality.
I'm with Rose.
Yeah. If your personality is like, yeah, big crowd, Bob, cheer, then you'll have fun. If you're not that person, then come in the side entrance and just wait till 10:15, 10:20 when it all dies down.
Or you know what? If you really don't I left the hall. This year I found it so intimate. I don't know if I'm getting old and my psychoses are just like developing. But I made a quick run through at 10. I bought some stuff and then I couldn't find any of my friends. Russ had abandoned me. I couldn't find anybody. He hadn't really abandoned me, but we all kind of go our separate ways during that 1 hour so we can cover as much as possible. I left and the slot G's found me against the wall and went, oh my God, are you okay? You look like you just fled a battle.
So when this happened, so then my daughters are in and I'm getting the text. Now we had done some scoping. Mm-hmm. And so my Gen Con now is interesting because this is the second year where my daughters have come with me. So in prior years, Nicole's come with me for most of the years I've gone to Gen Con. Yeah. And, with Nicole, it's great because we do things together like lunch and dinner and we'll do certain demos and stuff together. And then we split up and she covers her stuff, which is mostly cosplay and geeks in general. And I cover, all the games and things, and it's fine. With the kids there now, though, now you have those parental responsibilities where you're trying to balance the things you want to do with also the fact that you want to make sure your kids are having a great time and you're supporting them too. So my youngest daughter is a huge fan of this cartoon creation known as Catbug, which you heard me talk about in Achievements of Gaming. It's a little it's on a cartoon that I'm forgetting the name of now, but it's basically a part cat, part ladybug creature. And so we discovered that Catalyst Game Labs, our friends over there that make Leviathans and Battletech and Bravest Warriors, thank you. Nicole's telling me Bravest Warriors is where Catbug is from, which is a YouTube comic series, I believe. So we found out that Catalyst Game Labs had the card game for this, which she wasn't that interested in, but in each card game now came with a D6 Catbug die, where it was all the pips were her ladybug dots, and it was a really cute little die. So my daughter's like, I want one of these. And we were afraid it was going to sell out. So that was actually the first booth I went to. Once things opened up, I took her in my hand and we went right to the Catalyst Game Labs booth, and there was already a line around the booth. Now, it turned out the reason there was a line around the booth was because they were launching a new Interstellar Operations beta book for Battletech. But also, what I did not know was Catalyst Game Labs was also launching a new board game called Wrath of Dragons. And so while I'm waiting in line, I'm looking around, and sure enough, in front of me in line is the gentleman who happened to edit the rules for Wrath of Dragons. And so I'm like, anybody know about this Wrath of Dragons thing? It looks kind of cool because as I'm going around the circles, this is the brilliance of having to wait in the line, though. When I'm going around circles, I'm sitting there watching these demos of Wrath of Dragons, and it's got cool wooden dragon meeples and little building meeples and little sheep meeples the dragons eat. There's little screens because each player is playing a dragon. So one player is playing a blue dragon, one player is playing a black dragon, a green dragon. They got all the tokens. I'm like, this game looks awesome. So I'm talking to him and it's sounding really interesting. He's telling me, and I'm like, this, and I'm watching the pile dwindle as I'm going around the booth, and sort of that con fever hits, Craig. That fever of like, this looks awesome. It's going to sell out. It's going to be the hit of the con that nobody knows about. And I generally every convention I buy a game that I know nothing about that just looks cool. And so I decided that my very first purchase at Gen Con would be that. So I bought Wrath of Dragons. To be honest, I've still not played it, but
we've heard good things about it.
I have read through the rules. Several of the people I spoke to about how I bought this impulsively were like, oh my God, I played the demo. It was awesome, and it sold out by the time I got there. You're so lucky. So I'm like, cool. Sounds like I did good. So I will report back in the future on how this game plays. But suffice to say, for the price and the amount of bits in there, I'm very impressed. So that's what I can say about it right now. So, Craig, what was your first big purchase?
My first big purchase was I had no idea this was happening until I was waiting in line for the press badge, and I heard that Dwarven Forge was actually it was in the coupon book, and we were going through the coupon book. Dwarven Forge had extra pieces of their dungeon and their cavern terrain, and they were selling it by the pound until they ran out.
Holy cow.
Yeah. And so I had very specific things in my head that I wanted, and I knew I'm going to have to buy that pack for these pieces. I'm going to have to buy that pack for these pieces. And I kind of had it priced out. I was going to have to pay about $150 to get all of the pieces that I want because I've used it several times now. So I know where the holes are in my collection.
Right.
So I at the end of the hour, that's where I ran. And side note, you shouldn't let your children set up things with product you're not buying in the middle of the aisle. But that's beside the point. Like I couldn't even get to the stuff I wanted because this little girl had it all set up, and her mom was like, "We're waiting for her father because he's buying something else, and he has the credit card." And so I was like, "Oh, they're buying all that stuff, so I won't look at it." Well, come to find out, they wanted like 8 mushrooms. And that was it. And funny thing, like I had no sympathy for the woman because someone came along while she wasn't paying attention and bought the mushrooms she had set aside. But anyway, so I got exactly what I wanted because just fortuitously, the pieces that I wanted were in those bins. So I got a bunch of the big floor pieces for the caverns so I can make bigger caverns, and a bunch of the empty water spaces so I can make bigger water features. And the funny thing is, for me, ages ago when I decided I was going to paint my own so that I could buy more because it costs less if you get it unpainted, I decided, hey, I don't know what the future holds, so I'm going to paint it in the exact same paint scheme they used. And so I was they didn't have unpainted stuff there for the stuff I wanted. They had painted stuff, and it matches perfectly. Smart. I tested it, put it all there. So yeah, that was my first big purchase and my first big exciting purchase of the day.
Nice.
And then I think my second big purchase is probably the same as your second big purchase because you're the one who tweeted me that I had to go get it.
What was that?
That would be Imperial Assault Twin Shadows.
Oh, yeah. So this was interesting.
There were a lot of interesting things going on.
So I'm over at the Fantasy Flight booth.
Yeah.
And the line is very long. So this is the second year in the row that I've never entered the Fantasy Flight booth, right? I never went inside the Fantasy Flight booth at all. Last year, nor this year, because the line was just too long, and there was nothing in there I wanted that badly, right?
Correct.
I mean, there's some cool stuff in there, don't get me wrong, but it literally is like an hour and a half, 2-hour line. I could not bring myself to do it.
Yeah.
And I did the first year. When X-Wing first came out, I did wait in the super massive line, and I was kind of like, man, that was a long line. I mean, I was happy with my purchases, but it was a long line. So I'm waiting, I'm looking, but Fantasy Flight always has these really cool glass cases on the edge of their booth and all the cool models. So I'm sitting there taking pictures, and Antoine, right, the head of marketing there, Anton came up, and he's like, hey, Russ, how's it going? I'm like, hey, Anton. And so we're talking, and I was explaining how this year I can go to the flight report because we couldn't go last year because of our thing. We finally moved, blah, blah, blah. I was so excited to watch the flight report. He's like, great. And we got in this big debate about what time it was, which is funny. And then he's like, I was like, oh, you got any new Imperial Assault stuff? He goes, yeah, but I can't have it in my booth. What do you mean? He's like, nah, I can. It's in booth 1401. You know, it's a weird legal thing, but yeah, it's over there. But otherwise, everything else is here. I'm like, oh, you mean and I thought to myself, I don't have to wait in this massive line for Imperial Assault? Well, there must be a massive line somewhere else. So, and this is the expansion. So, because there's pictures, because the reason this came up was they've got in the case there, they've got the new Imperial Assault expansion. They've got the Boba Fett figures in there. They've got R2-D2 and C-3PO. All like 4 or 5 more Greedo, all 4 or 5 more boosters plus this new expansion, which is like a half box size expansion. And I'm like, and I said, hey, are you guys selling this today? And this is where he told me the story. I'm like, oh, well, see ya. And I ran over to booth 1401. And at 1401, there was no line because 1401 was just a store booth. It was just an unassuming store booth. And there in a pile
with a giant pallet
before anybody else in the entire country could get it for some reason. These guys had a pallet of the expansion and all the blisters, and I'll take one of each, please.
Yep.
And then I tweeted Craig, go to booth 1401 and get all the Imperial Assault hotness without going to the Fantasy Flight booth.
And I did.
So I think a lot of our friends took them up on that because as we've said before, Imperial Assault's a great game, not only for a great campaign, but the skirmish mode's also a blast. And what's great now is you buy Boba Fett, now you got Boba Fett in skirmish mode. Sweet!
That's right.
So that's all good. And of course, so anyway, so that was that big purchase.
And it was funny because they had the cost of all 4 things together, like at the tip of their tongues.
Yes, they did.
Like each one of these costs this. The whole thing together is $73.
And he's like,
you
explaining
just saw
to me-
people like shoving $73
And he's like,
bundles.
explained to me, he's like, so I really can't give you. I'm like, I don't care. I don't care. Shut up and take my money. I just want these games. So, so anyway, so that was that one. So, what was your next big purchase, Craig? I don't think we can go through day by day because we'll be here all month. But
Yeah,
so
no.
what was your next
To
big
tell you the truth, well, the only other big thing that I bought, and it wasn't a big thing, was the rule book by Radio Dish Dash for Outbreak, the zombie skirmish game that Dave and I did a demo of on day one and got super excited.
Now, Outbreak's not new, right? I think I've seen that a couple of years in a row. But is it finally out?
Totally different game. You're thinking. You're thinking of, I believe, the I don't even know what it's called, but it's a role playing game, and their big thing is your zombie survival plan will fail.
Oh yes, that's what I'm thinking.
And it's very similar. I mean, all of the colors are all black and yellow because of the hazard signs and everything, and so in both booths, you could easily confuse the two. This is a brand new game. It was just released at GenCon. Radio Dish Dash is a New Zealand company. And I had the information at my fingertips. Phalanx Consortium is the American company that's going to be distributing in America. And it was a great demo. Fun, fast. You could see how the game was forming up and shaping up. It was really exciting. So Dave and I both bought that. Wandering around with Dave is like wandering around with your PR guy because I don't tell people who I am. I feel very uncomfortable saying who I am or what we do. And then Dave is behind me and he'll whisper and he'll always lowball the figure too, which kind of a window in his head. But, he'll be like, have you heard of the D6 generation? They've got X number of listeners. And he always like gives like half the number of listeners, which apparently is impressive in and of itself because then I get free stuff. So the guy's like, oh my God, take a t-shirt. I was like, oh no, I can't. He's like, no, take a t-shirt. This is great. You're going to talk about it on your show. And I was like, well, yeah, I'm going to, I talk about everything though. You don't have to give me a t-shirt. And he's like, no, take a t-shirt. So I got a really cool t-shirt from one of the 2 designers, and then the other designer gave us the demo, and like I said, it was a lot of fun. It really inspired Dave and I. We're already both into kind of a skirmish miniatures mode lately, so went directly from there, bought a bunch of zombies from Mantic. The sad thing at the Mantic booth, the only thing you could buy the zombies for was the 40 zombie mob pack.
Ooh.
So that's a lot of zombies, even for a zombie skirmish game. But Dave was like, get it, and we'll split it. So that was awesome. Then we went to the Z-Pocalypse booth where they have a hospital-themed zombie pack. And later on, sadly, I found out that the scales don't quite match. But they're really cool. One zombie is this woman dragging around her IV stand, things like that. So very cool, fluffy, kind of weird, funny things. Guy in a straitjacket. Went to the Flying Frog booth and remembered that as I went through there, I was very interested in Shadows of Brimstone.
Yeah.
Which was their big Kickstarter thing. Sadly, I got so excited about Outbreak that while I was there specifically to look at Shadows of Brimstone, I saw that they sell all of their plastic components in blisters now at conventions. And so I bought all of the survivors from Last Night on Earth.
Wow.
With a coupon from the coupon book, it went from $15 to $10 for, I think it was 8 survivors. So that was cool. So that's what I did. I went and I bought a whole bunch of miniatures and tokens. Dave and I raided the War Store. The War Store, if you go in there, has like a giant horseshoe of discount bins. And you don't know what's going to be in there. It ranges anywhere from $2 to, like 15 or 20. But they have all of these tokens for defunct games. And they're all $2 for a whole pack of tokens. So we dug through there, got all kinds of tokens. We were get all the tokens we needed for both Frostgrave and Outbreak. So that was probably the last big purchase I made, but it was long and it lasted all weekend long because it was just me constantly finding new cool things to use for the miniature skirmish craze that I'm going through right now.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
So let's see. So is that all your purchases?
Pretty much, yeah.
Nice. That's a good haul. So let's see. I got Wrath of the Dragons. I did get over to Stronghold Games and snap up Survive Space Attack. And then Craig and I got to play it, with our friend, listener Bob Oswald, one evening. And it's Survive Space Attack. I think we talked about Jeff on the show before. It's basically Survive Escape from Atlantis with a space theme, but the rules have been reworked by the Engelstein clan there to and it's great. I really enjoyed it. Craig, did you enjoy it?
It was a blast.
I thought it was a lot of fun. Yeah. I think the regular Survive still has a place in your collection if you want a sort of a little simpler version of it. But
it's a little simpler and I think a little faster.
It is maybe, but I like this a lot. I mean, you got turrets now blasting the monsters out of the sky. You got fighters. You got, transport ships.
And all you need is for the designer to swing by and during your first play, and he will correct all the things Russ told you wrong about how to play the game.
Exactly right.
And again, yet another thing that happens only at GenCon.
Only at GenCon. Can the game
late
designer
at
walk
night,
by?
we're playing a game and the designer just happens to walk by.
12:30 at night.
Oh, actually, that's not how that works.
12:30 night, walks in a Hawaiian t-shirt. He's on the phone. By the way, you're doing that wrong, Wakeland. What? It's just hilarious. Then I also picked up, so I was drawn to, there was so much cool stuff at GenCon this year, and I was drawn to several things. And at the Cool Mini or Not booth, so what I'm finding is I'm still a miniature gamer at heart, but I'm liking the miniatures and board game combination because
who didn't know that?
Yes. So I'm at Cool Mini or Not, which is sort of like where this
the mecca
lives.
for that particular intersection,
which is really pretty evil. I also spent a lot of time at Soda Pop Miniatures. They had some really cool stuff. They got some for Super Dungeon Explorer. I was like, oh my god. But anyway, so I'm at Cool Mini or Not, and they had two big games I couldn't decide between. Blood Rage, which was this cool Viking game with amazing miniatures, and basically it's a land control game with the different Viking hordes that fight it out. And this game was getting great. Everybody who tried it was loving it, and it sold out the first day, but they were going to get more the next day and the day after that. So you're like, okay, well, maybe I can come back for that. The other game they had plenty of, though, was Rum and Bones. So Rum and Bones was a Kickstarter campaign. This game, Craig, looks right up our alley. Okay, so it's two ships engaged in a boarding action. So you've got two pirate ships or whatever locked together. That's the game board. And then you've got hordes of crew from two different factions. So in the core game, you get an undead faction and you get sort of like crazy human faction, pirates. And these two groups just sort of fight it out. But the thing that's interesting is you don't control the crew. The crew just sort of are AI controlled for both sides. They rush forward and try to attack each other. You control the heroes who move in amongst the crew. And you use your own crew for cover because when people shoot into squares, it's kind of like Zombie Side. You know when you shoot into squares, you don't hit. You hit certain things first before you hit other things. Yep. So this is like that. You hit certain guys first. So if your hero's in amongst regular dudes and someone shoots in there, the regular dudes get hit first. So your hero can use this like cover. And then your hero gets around and tries to take out these key objectives on the enemy ship. Maybe take out their cannon, maybe take out their ship's wheel. And when you kill enough of these things, you win the game. And you control 3 or 4 of these heroes at a time running around the boats. So it's really sort of interesting gameplay mechanic. What some people didn't like about it was you couldn't control every single model. But what I liked about it was it gave you this horde army feel, but you're really only controlling a few key models and it keeps the game moving quick. But what really attracted me to it were the different expansions. So what happens is the expansions change the board. So one of the expansions was a Chinese faction. So imagine all the sort of Oriental pirates you saw in Pirates of the Caribbean. Imagine inspired by that. You got basically ninjas and samurai, and there's actually one giant panda pirate dude all in there.
Of course there is.
But what's cool about them
you know why? Eric Lang.
Yes, Eric Lang. Right? There's always a panda in there somewhere. Yeah, and the rules are by Eric Lang, which is also. No, I think he only did Blood Rage. I don't think he did this one. But anyway,
maybe not.
He may have. I'll have to double check. But in any case, what's really cool about the Chinese faction is instead of one big boat, they have 3 little boats. So what ends up happening is you play with one of the factions from the core box set on a big boat, and these 3 little tiny boats are boarding you from 3 different sides that you got to deal with. And then the French expansion has 2 smaller boats that hit you on either side that you got to fight off. So it changes the tactics of the game as well as each faction having faction-specific rules. So it was really, really cool. The only reason I was able to resist this game, and it was very hard for me to resist it, was 2 things. First, I convinced my friend Christian Flores to buy all of it.
And he bought all of
it. Which was a brilliant move, if I must say so myself. But the second thing that resisted me was the fact that I wanted all of it. So this was the one that had like 2 more expansions. The game itself was like $80, which I thought was maybe it was 90, but I thought was a deal because you got a ton of plastic. Think zombie side level of plastic. And that's what's cool about it. Like it's like there's just hordes of guys fighting it on these boats. So you got hordes of guys for like $80 or $90. Then though, each expansion is like 50. So now you're at $200. Then they had little mini expansions of different heroes you could add to the boat. Each of those is like $20, like 4 of those. Then you could buy the golden coins, which you had to have. Then there was a different dice set for each faction, which you had to have. Then there was like, it was like, oh my God, I want it all. That's going to be like $500 for one game. I couldn't. And then sitting next to it was the apparently hard to get, everybody wants it, Blood Rage, which only had one box for like $60.
Right.
I'm like, well, why don't I buy the hotness instead? So I got Blood Rage, but I really wanted Craig. Oh, and then to make it worse, here's the worst part. Then next to all of that, they have the Rum and Bones resin collection. All the same models, but instead of in board game rubber, it's all in resin. You can imagine how expensive those were. And the miniature gamers are like, well, I gotta have the resin. Now I'm talking about $1,000. I'm not spending $1,000 on one game. So I went over and I just bought the one. I contained myself and decided if I must get a cool mini or not game, I would just get Blood Rage so that I would not buy all that stuff.
Right.
So talk myself down. I have not played Blood Rage yet. However, I watched it be played, and it looks really kind of up my alley. What I liked about it was it plays really fast, which I did think was cool. So let's see. That was another purchase. Then, what else? So this one was interesting. So my daughters are wandering around with me at one point, and we go by this booth, and there's this game. And I look at it and I'm like, Rose, do you think that game looks interesting? And on the cover is the three evil queens from fairy tales. So it's like the evil queen, the mother of Snow White. And then you've got sort of like a frost queen, evil queen. And then you've got sort of another character. I forget which one she is, but another one, evil queens. It looks very much like the artwork from the one season of Once Upon a Time where the 3 evil queens get together. I think it's Cruella and Ursula and Snow White's mom there, stepmother. And they get together and they sort of like, take on all of Storybrooke and all the bad guys if you follow that show. So anyway, this game's theory is it's called Fairy Tale Games. And there's a little logo in the bottom that looks like the Mockingjay logo, kind of from Hunger Games, but it's bloody and it's a robin, like Snow White's robin kind of thing. And the premise here is that the 3 evil queens have created a Hunger Game-like experience with all the fairy tale characters from all the fairy tales you know and love. It's kind of like Hunger Games meets Once Upon a Time, the TV show.
Right.
Now, my kids, of course, are huge fans of this concept. They read all kinds of books about alternate fairy tales and stuff, and so they're really interested in this game. And the core game comes with 30 different playable characters that you go through this sort of, you're in this Hunger Games-like arena, and the board itself is made out of cards. So you keep drawing cards as you explore, and that's sort of the different areas. You might go into the woods, and you go into the desert, and you flip it over, and there's an encounter or whatever. And as you're walking around, you're really trying to gear up so you can start fighting each other. And there's multiple ways to win. You can either win the way the Hunger Games want you to win, or the Queens want you to win, which is kill everybody else and be the sole survivor, right? Or you can win by actually breaking the rules of the game and breaking into the Queen of Hearts castle and then breaking in and killing certain boss monsters and then fighting your way to actually take on the main queens and sort of escape the Hunger Games. And then there's some alternate ways you can do it as well. So it's sort of interesting. I will say this. The mechanics are interesting. There's some really interesting stuff in there. But the rule book is not as well written as I would like. A couple of my pet peeves in there. For example, there are no page numbers at all, which means the table of contents is all but useless. So it's hard to reference anything, and it's not laid out as well as I'd like. The good news is there's a couple good FAQs online, and you can kind of figure it out. But what I like about it, the artwork is fantastic. And then the other thing that captured my daughter was they've released all the miniatures for the game, and the miniatures are actually really pretty nice looking. Board game quality, almost cool mini or not level miniatures that we really, really liked. And she likes to paint the War Machine miniatures. And my youngest daughter liked this because she liked the theme as well. So we ended up, this was sort of our big splurge of the convention. We ended up getting the core game and all the miniatures for it. The girls spent their allowance on that, got it all back in, and they're really enjoying it. And it's been a lot of fun. Again, the rules, it's not a game I normally would play probably because the rules are a little bit fiddly. But we're refining them and adding a few house rules here and there, and they're just having a blast with it.
You were adding house rules on your first play?
Not our first play. We've played it like 4 or 5 times now. They really love it. Like they want to play it over and over again. We played it.
Oh, well, that's good. Anyway.
Like we played it like twice at GenCon, and then we've played it like now twice at home. So, and they played it actually one night by themselves with the Flores kids too. So they've been having a blast with it. They love it. They can't get enough of it, and it is the kind of game. The more you play it, the cooler it gets. One of the most interesting mechanics about it, Craig, is that one of the things we did wrong for the first time when we were playing it, you can play up to 10 players. So we tried it one afternoon with a bunch of other listeners and stuff, and we had 7 players playing, and it was taking forever, right? So it took us like 2.5 hours, and finally just decided to make a simpler goal and stop. It was like, it's never going to end. And we realized what we were doing wrong. So what we were doing is, you know, in most games, like one player takes a turn, another player takes a turn, and then you take a turn. Let's say you're in combat. You know, maybe you finish your fight or you take a turn in combat and then you wait and someone else takes a turn, someone else takes a turn. In this game, when you get in combat, you start rolling your dice and playing your cards and doing your combat, but you come out of the normal turn order. And the gameplay continues in regular turnover. So there's basically 2 modes. You're in quest mode, doing your things on the board, or you're in combat, you're taken out of time. As soon as you finish your combat, the turn order of the game shifts and you jump back into quest mode right after the current player finishes their turn. So what's interesting about this is there's a metagame here where if you can play your combat really fast, you're back into the regular sequence order, or if you're not in combat, if you play your turn really fast, you can get a lot more done before that other guy gets out of combat. And so it really makes this interesting thing start to happen where there's these 2 mini games happening. And once all the players know the rules well, this gets really fascinating. And I've never seen this mechanic done before. It does get a little wacky sometimes, but it really makes some really hilarious kind of moments that actually really mix the game up and makes the game super fast. It actually speeds the game up quite a bit.
Well, that's good.
So anyway, I'm really enjoying this thing with my kids, and I'm just really excited my kids have found a game they're really passionate about. So
yeah, just out of curiosity, how much does it cost if you get the base game and all of those the fact that all the miniatures came in expansions that were so expensive was a little odd to me.
Well, they had a deal where you buy 2 get 1 free. And I think there were 6 expansions.
Yeah.
And I think they were $30 each.
I believe you told me 45. But I could be wrong, or you could have been wrong.
I can't remember exactly. So it was something like, all that together was like $220 or something. I can't remember. So it was pricey. I'm not going to lie. But again, my kids, it was Rose's birthday coming up. It was actually literally was 2 days later. So that kind of happened.
And listeners who are listening through the entire show may get the wrong idea. I will vouch that neither Rose nor Kit are in any way spoiled. So don't worry about Russ's parenting. He sounds indulgent, but it was just GenCon.
It was, and they had their big game purchase basically at GenCon. They loved it though. We're having a fun time with it. And what's also cool is they have different game variants now coming out for those models. So I think the kids and Rosen actually started paying them tonight. I actually put a picture up of the Beast, which the Beast, if you look at my Twitter feed, you'll see the Beast. I don't know how they haven't been sued by Disney yet.
Well, they will now. Thank you very much, Russ Wakeland.
So I apologize, Fair Tickets. We love you guys. It's my bad that I put a picture of the Beast up. Had a blast painting him, though. It was fun.
That a Disney fanboy happened to put a picture up on his Twitter feed.
Yeah, well, most of them are awesome. It's like you got like Snow White there with like twin daggers behind her back. Like they're all they have these cool move cards. The artwork's fantastic. There's a lot to love about this game.
Are all that stuff in the game and all like you've got everything you need, but the game itself out of the box is just tokens, or do the boxes actually include new?
No, there's no rules.
They're just models.
They're just models, and
so it's somewhere between $30 and $45 for 4 to 6 models.
Yeah.
Wow.
But they're
okay.
I mean, I think they're nice.
It worked on the Wakeland clan.
It did, but look at them. I mean, look at the models. I think they're nice.
They're very neat. I did see them.
So I think they're pretty cool. But and what also is cool is now we have models from some of the expansions that aren't out yet. So by buying all those sets, I actually own like Sherlock Holmes and other folks that aren't even out yet. So when those expansions for the game or the game rules release, I'll have that.
See, so it is new stuff.
See, I'm buying forward.
Yeah. There you go, paying it forward. Well, that's not what that means, but okay.
All right, fine.
No, that wasn't you who said that. I was making fun of you. Jeez.
So one other thing we should mention. So those are those are my big purchases.
Yeah.
I did buy Undersea. I don't know if I mentioned that. I demoed it, loved it. Can't wait to play it more. Jeff Engelstein, we got a chance to demo, and I don't know if we can talk about this on the air. So
I don't think we should.
I won't describe it.
No details, but it was a blast playing his newest game.
Yeah. So his new, he's working on a new game with his daughter, Sydney. And I don't know if Brian's helping a lot or not, but he came up after our D6G event and said, hey, guys, he came to our D6, so thank you for coming to our event, Jeff. Appreciate it. And we went afterwards, and he was like, I've got a game to show you. And a few of our listeners who attended the event came along, including this great family from Israel, happened to be vacationing in the United States.
That'd be Cliff and his family.
Yes, thank you. Thanks so much, Cliff and your family. It was such a pleasure to meet you guys. And they came up, and they were like, my daughter just got out of the military, and she wanted to do something fun to celebrate that, and so we came to GenCon. I was like, wow, that's really cool.
Which is awesome.
I mean, they're doing other things in the U.S. too, but that was one of the things.
Yeah, Rafaela, I believe, was getting married.
Yes, that's
minor thing there.
Yeah, minor thing. Well, we're pretending that's not the most important thing.
Yeah.
So, and they came too, and we had a great time, and it was a game where there was suspicion and intrigue. And let's just say that the Israeli military's, legendary ability to root out nefarious activity is well founded. I will say that. I could pull nothing over on these people. It was excellent. So we had a good time with that. And Jeff's game is really compelling and interesting. So I'm looking forward to hope that makes it to production because
fun, fast game.
It was a lot of fun, a lot of fast, fun game. So, what else should we mention here, Craig? We've covered a lot.
Well, I mean, we did our event, but they have heard part of it, and we'll hear the rest of it.
Yes.
What about a very quick rundown of the games that we demoed, just so people know that where we had our fun?
Yeah, you start.
Well, we talked about Superstar Showdown. Russ and I did that. Actually, the Gale Force 9 guys broke the rules.
Did they?
During that 1 hour thing. And
they called us over.
We did an entire game of Super. If you like wrestling, that game's for you.
Yeah.
It's like Luchador with a little more depth and an actual IP tie-in.
Nice mechanics. They've got actual wrestlers from WWE you will recognize in the game. I don't know the WWE models. Yeah, I don't know them well enough to really know if their mechanics match who they are, but there was some cool abilities like the distance you'd move as you counted squares gave you momentum to do more damage, and you could actually run into the rope and bounce off of it for more speed. And so there's some really cool little mechanics in there that I was really enjoying, and I could see a fan of wrestling. In fact, I tweeted our friend Ryan, who is a big wrestling fan. I was like, Ryan, you got to go check this game out. I think you'll love it.
I believe he bought it sight unseen.
I believe he did. So I would think if you're a wrestling fan at all, you definitely want to check out SmackDown.
So then I swung back around to the Gale Force 9 booth later that day because I really wanted to try Homeland.
Well, you and I got a brief overview of it, but we didn't.
We got a brief overview of it, and it was intriguing because on the drive out with all the Nerd Herders guys, Dave was talking on and on and on, never having known the game existed until that drive. So he hadn't done any research. He was just like, "Oh, I bet it's like Battlestar Galactica, but it's like this instead of this." And during the little overview that Russ and I got, it was like, "Well, it's kind of like Battlestar Galactica, but it's got this and this." I was like, "Oh my god!" So I went and found Dave, and I was like, "Dave, we got to demo this." And we played the way that they often do demos at Gale Force 9, which is good and bad, is they do the entire game. So you play the entire game all the way through with a person guiding you and helping you, but it's not like, hey, we're going to play 2 turns of this so you get an idea. It's like, we're going to play the whole game, which is annoying when you're waiting, but awesome once you sit down.
Right.
And it was a blast. I had a blast. It really, really is a lot like Battlestar Galactica. It's very similar in a lot of ways, but I think it's it's a little cooler, a little more streamlined. It's certainly faster. And it's very, very cool. It does a great job of capturing, once again, a great job of capturing the theme of the IP. That's Homeland, the TV show. So I had a blast, and I almost bought it, but I knew I wasn't probably going to get a chance to play it anytime in the near future. So there was no need for me to, we were in a minivan and it was packed on the way out because of, a couple things. So I was kind of limited in space. So I didn't buy it, but I intend to. Then I kind of did a round of the hall with Dave. So then we did Flick 'em Up.
What'd you think of that?
Flick 'em Up. Flick 'em Up is a dexterity game, which of course Russ loves, and it's a cowboy game, which of course Russ loves.
Yes.
And basically, it's a shoot 'em up cowboy game where you've got these wooden standing cowboys and you're flicking wooden discs at each other trying to knock them down. And they did this awesome thing where they made huge, like 2 or 3 up boards, and they blew up all the components. They're made out of really nice wood. The discs are really solid. The buildings are really heavy. All the terrain, the cactuses or cacti, are really cool. Everything's really, really cool. To the point where you're playing it, you're like, this is awesome. And then they show you the actual game and you're like, wow, that's tiny.
Yeah.
So I think that might have an unintended consequence. It did on me anyway. Where I was like, wow, what do you like? Play this on the floor? They're like, oh no, you can play it on a regular table. And this is how, and when you're playing it in the demo, when you overshoot, not if, because you're just like flicking these little discs. There's like a big bumper that they've built all the way around. Obviously they spared no expense for these demo tables. They had vinyl mats that were all cool desert themed. And so it's bouncing off the bumper. But if you don't if you're playing at home, you're just flicking these things off the kitchen table. I have to imagine.
Yeah, I want the big giant floor set.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
Yeah.
And then the price was like a punch to the gut because it comes in a small, one of those small like Cool Mini or Not size boxes, those square boxes now that people are moving to.
Yep.
It's $70. It's tiny.
A lot of wood though in there.
It's a lot of wood, but the key is because when Dave was like, "Wow, $70 seems a bit steep for this game," and the guy was like, "Well, the box is wood." And Dave was like, "Wow, I would rather have the game for $50 and a cardboard box." Well, we're gonna keep. I mean, you know how sometimes these designers and these publicity guys, they get an idea in their head and like, this is a good idea. So this was like, we are committed to this wooden box. It's always going to be a wooden box. We were like, okay, sorry.
Right.
But if it was that big box, if it was that big game for $70, I would have bought it. Or the smaller game for a smaller price, I probably would have. I had a blast. It was a lot of fun, a lot of cool little mechanics for when your guys inside a building and you're looking for loot while you're walking around. Each team has a little coffin, and all of the all the bits and pieces of the dead guys go in the coffin, and really cool mechanic where their cowboy hats flip, and there's a town hall with a clock on it.
Yep.
And you change the facing of the clock every turn so that, this is a red turn, this is a blue turn. So very X-Wing, or I should say Star Wars Armada, as far as like, it's a red turn, so look at all the hats, all the ones that are red haven't gone yet. That kind of thing. So it was really, really cool. I think they might have outpriced themselves for me. I know they were selling a lot, and it was a fun game. I've already talked about Outbreak by Radio Dish Dash. The demo was awesome. It was very, very streamlined, very cool, very cinematic game. Again, one of these cool things that you get at GenCon where it's the designer demoing the game, which can sometimes not be a great thing because they know stuff because they've designed the game that maybe the rule book isn't quite as clear. So, but it's always cool to be interfacing with the designer. And then the second day, Dave and I, it was funny because Russ was interacting with some game guys and had been emailing them a little bit.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
What's that?
Castle Assault?
Yes, with Castle Assault.
Right.
I knew nothing about Castle Assault. And so Dave was like, I've emailed these guys and I want to go check it out. And I was like, okay, we can go check it out. And Dave was like, hi, I'm Dave from Nerd Herders. And I was like, oh, hi, I'm Craig from the D6 generation. And the guy was like, oh my God, that's awesome. Where's Russ? I was like, Russ is not here right
wandered
now.
off.
Can I take a message? And I was like, oh no, Russ is busy. He can't make it. But I'm interested in playing the game. And he was like, oh no, that's great. And so I think it was Jared, one of the game designers, not the main game designer, but one of the designers. The main game designer was demoing a game right next to us, and we played a demo, and it was very cool, very fast game, very, very, very reminiscent of Summoner Wars. That you're summoning, your cards are a resource. You're summoning troops onto the battlefield or effects that you can use on the battlefield. The graphic design is awesome. There's a castle at either end, and you're basically assaulting the castle. That's the name. So you need to kill the guys between you, and it's very much a lane game. There's not nearly as much lateral movement as there is in Summoner Wars. So it's not as strategic in the basic game layout. It's like you're head to head with the guy who's coming down the same lane you're in. You have to smash through him and then get to the castle wall to do the damage. The name of the company is Momentum Volsk, which is kind of cool because momentum is a cool mechanic in the game where you roll a die and it kind of changes the momentum. And if it's all the way over at your end, you get a bonus. If it's all the way at the enemy's side, it gets a bonus. So it was really neat. They have, I believe it's 6 factions out of the box now. And we played humans versus the vampires. And you could tell there was a whole story going on underneath it because I was like, I'm the humans, yay. And I start flipping through my cards and they're all women. And you're like, wow, they're all like militia. And I'm like, what's going on? And he was like, but where our story starts, the human empire has almost completely been destroyed and all their men have died in battle. I'm like, oh, cool, I guess. I went on to win, mainly thanks to the demo guy who went, oh, wow, you're about to lose. Do this, 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 and this. And I was like, okay, if you think so. Boom, 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 boom. And then I won.
Nice.
But it was a lot of fun. We really enjoyed it. Dave really enjoyed it. He actually recorded the play. So if you're interested in that, go over and check out the Nerd Herders guys, because they've got the whole play. Not the whole play. I mean, he kept recording bits and pieces as we went, but it was really neat. It was cool. And then we rounded off our demo weekend at GenCon with Spartan Games Halo, which was really cool. I know all I know about Halo is what I read from the books and what I hear from you guys talking about. The designer was there, and one of the main studio guys was there, and Neil was there, which was awesome. I've never met Neil. I've worked for the man. I've spent hours at night, late into the night, talking to him. We've had him on the show countless times. I've never actually got a chance to meet him, so that was awesome. And he actually stood there for most of our demo because I think he was very interested in what my reaction was going to be. Speaking of my reaction, we're going to talk about it more in the last chapter, because we can't really review it. Russ read the rule book and I played a demo.
Yes,
but
that's as detailed as it is. But we will do a full. I would be very surprised if this game does not make it to a full review at some point.
Oh, it was a huge hit at the con. Sold out before Saturday. Very exciting stuff, and the game is it's cool. It's a very cool game.
So real quick, we gotta wrap because we're over an hour.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do my demos real quick. I did demo Undercity, bought it. I did demo Space Attack, bought it. So good job demoing, boys. Then I also demoed Space Cadets Away Missions, which components were awesome. Didn't end up getting that, almost did, but I was going to wait till it got to the store. There's only so many things you can carry in your car. Then I also what else did I demo? I think that was most of the. I demoed a couple other small games. Fairy Tale, I think mostly games I bought. So yeah, but it was a great. I really enjoyed Gen Con this year, Craig. That's my final thoughts on this subject. I thought it was great. I really enjoyed it. My kids had an absolute blast. One of the things I thought was awesome was my youngest daughter really wanted to play Werewolf this time around in the big crowd. So, and they have organized Werewolf play now, where for one generic you can play for 2 hours. Wow. And it runs from like 6 at night when the hall closes all the way to 4 in the morning. So it runs all night. And she really wanted to do it. So we went out like 10 o'clock at night. We played 2 big games. And I'd have to say, what a great group of people. I mean, here they are. There's kids in college. There's older folks. There's younger folks. I got my daughter there, and some of the Flores kids were there. They're just friends of our family. And it's all like, people ranging in age, and they're all friendly. They're all cordial, very accepting. No one's judging anybody. We're just playing a werewolf, and it was a great time. So, you're being judged, but in context of the game, in real life. So
I'm judging you, but I'm doing it silently.
It was really interesting to see the game played. And here's a pro tip for Werewolf. I've learned now that I played it with people who played all the time. Do not come to play Werewolf with a unibrow or a very long amount of facial hair, because the first vote out on a werewolf in every game I've witnessed now is you don't know who to vote through first because no one's really interacting yet.
So they vote for the people who look like they might be
the hairiest person go right out.
Ah, okay.
But this is an interesting tactic because I found there actually is some strategy to it. So if you pick someone, and you say you should go out, and it's only like the second round of the game, and someone starts defending them, almost always you found a werewolf. Because most people don't care who gets voted out in the beginning of the game, as long as it's not them. Right. But werewolves know each other. So in the early part of the game, if someone's defending someone else, all of a sudden, you might be onto a pair of werewolves. Just saying.
You might be a werewolf.
You might just be a werewolf. So Gen Con 2015, for me and my family, great hit. We cannot wait for 2016.
Me too. This edition of Jever Notice is brought to you once again by all of our fine fellows over at Patreon. And the Felinas. I don't know, that fell apart. And specifically today, I would like to thank Gary Preedy, David Watson, Adam Hansen, Mark Dines, or Dennis, and Gary Boyce. And in particular, I would really like to thank you because this recording in particular, that's a lot of particulars, is a lot easier than it would have been without you guys. My headphones exploded actually about an episode and a half ago, and I have been recording with earbuds in my ears, which is just not a pleasant experience and doesn't really give the whole impression that you're actually talking to other people. It doesn't block anything out around you, and so it's really, really confusing. So I want to thank you guys for making that possible, because without you, I'd still be listening to earbuds, and that's just no fun at all. Did you ever notice how subjective something like value can be? What is worth a lot of money to you might not be worth anything to someone else. This was really hammered home to me when I was hanging out with the Nerd Herders, Dave, and there were a couple other guys with us, I think. We were at the auction at GenCon, which goes all weekend long, which is awesome, and I highly recommend everybody at least stick their heads in for a little bit to watch some of it. It's kind of hit or miss, because if you get a long string of really boring items, it's not that much fun, but we went in particular to the collectibles auction, which we heard was a hoot, and so we wanted to check it out. So we went to the collectibles auction, which is late Friday night, I think. And it was a hoot. The kind of things that you were seeing there, illegal rules for, a Lord of the Rings role-playing game that had never secured the rights, and the guy had tried to just slip under the radar. A lot of old copies of, very, very early D&D things and modules and things like that. In particular, I was curious about a poster. And this poster was for Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, so it was not like, middle of the road poster. I'm pretty sure Half-Blood Prince was in the middle towards the end of the series. It was signed by almost everybody, but not Daniel Radcliffe. And when it went up for auction, I was very curious what someone would pay for something like that. So when it came up, it was very intriguing. Occasionally at the auction, people who actually work the auction will bid on the items also. And that, it seems like a, conflict of interest, but for some reason, I don't think it is. I don't know. They just give you the impression that they're trustworthy. I don't know. Maybe I'm the sucker. And so, the bidding started, and he was a young man, probably in his 20s, maybe even early 30s, was up on the stage, and he had his little number out, and he was adamant he was going to win this. And there were 2 or 3 other people, but one guy in particular who looked like the spitting image of one of my former students. Wasn't, but looked just like him. So, which means nothing to almost any of you. Just like had his hands straight up with such authority, you knew like this was just going to happen. And the way they do the bidding at these auctions, that it's not like, hey, it's not like that at all. Instead, they just, as long as there's at least 2 people with their hands raised, they just go up in increments that make sense. So early increments would be maybe $1, $2, $3, $4. Do I have $5, $6, $7? We're still up at $8, $9, $10, $15, $20, $25, $30, $45, $50, $50, $60, $70, and they go up from there until there's only one person with their hand still up, and then they back it to what the last bid was, and it one higher than when the other person put their hand down, obviously. So it's going up and up and up, and these guys are like looking at each other, and the guy on stage is really funny, and he's kind of hamming it up a little bit. He's like, oh, you, like snidely whiplash kind of thing going on. And the guy in the audience is just ramrod straight, and he's got his hand up, and at one point he says, you can't beat me. And it was like, ooh, this guy really wants this poster. And they stopped at $200, and I think it was like $250. And I was like, wow, that's a lot for a poster. And the auctioneer, he was great, going like, come on guys, you got to factor in how much money it would cost you to fly all over the world. These guys don't do conventions altogether anymore. So you'd have to fly all over to find all these signatures. And, so at $250, it was great. And then in the back row, a young lady, couldn't have been much older than 22, suddenly shot her hand in the air, but in such a timid way, like it almost looked like it hurt. And we were all like, ooh, because the poor guy thought he had won this poster for $250, which clearly it was well worth it to him. And this girl was like curled up, like in the fetal position, but had her hand up. And the auctioneer was like, are you in? And she's like, uh-huh. And he went, okay, 250, 260, 270, 280, 290. And the guy, the ramrod straight guy, started to look back at her, and he was like looking poison in her direction. And she wouldn't look at him. She wouldn't look at anybody. She was all curled up in her seat, but her hand, it was like kind of like fluttering up and down, but it kept going up. And then, and we were just all fascinated. This was one of the most fascinating things that I saw the entire time I was at GenCon. The psychological drama playing itself out. And it got up to 400, and the guy was like, seriously? And the girl was like all totally curled up in a ball at this point with just her hand sticking out, and her boyfriend or husband or something rubbing her back like, it's okay, it's okay. And it went up to $480. And at $480, the ramrod straight guy went, and just dropped his number. It was like, I'm out. And then the girl dropped her number. And the auctioneer was like, I have you at 480. And she just started mutely shaking her head as if she was afraid of being beaten. It was really kind of scary at that point. It was almost surreal. And the auctioneer was like, I have you at 480. And she was shaking her head, shaking her head, shaking her head. And he said, are you telling me you can't pay at 480? And the girl was shaking her head and shaking her head, and her whole body was shaking now. And her boyfriend or whatever was rubbing her back. And we were all just fascinated. And the ramrod straight guy was like, seriously, this is what's happening? And so the auctioneer says, okay, I'll tell you what, I'll back it up to 400. And he goes to the young guy, do you want it at 400? And the young guy, who I think has every right to feel this way, says, no, I'll take it at 250 before she started running me up. And there was a bunch of people in the room who were booing, which I don't get at all, because seriously, this guy had it at 250. And then this girl jumped in, and I don't know. I mean, whatever. But so the auctioneer said, I'm not backing it down to 250. I'll back it to 400. I had you both at 400. And that's as far back as we're going to go. And the guy was like, no, I'm not taking it for 400. I would take it for 250. I'm not taking it for 400. And he said, she won. So if anybody's going to take it, it's going to be her unless it's 250. And the auctioneer was like, okay, I had you at 400. You have to take it at 400. And the girl's like shaking her head, no. And the auctioneer was like suddenly just steamrolled her. Okay, 400 it is. 400 you owe us. Pay it over there. Everyone, I need you to know that you are obligated to pay your debts as soon as you get them. So please go over there, pay it off. So this poor girl, not poor girl, I mean, I don't know what she was thinking, but $400 for this poster. And the guy was really angry. There was I don't know who it was, but there was a gaming world luminary sitting near him, who had been like commented on by other people over the course of the evening, and he leaned over and was commiserating with the kid, and the kid was just like, crazy, it's ridiculous. So obviously he was upset. But as I was reflecting later on, I was thinking, first of all, the girl was actually crying the whole time she went up to buy the poster. I mean, her eyes were wet, her eyes were red, she was kind of like shaking, and then she came back with the poster, and then they were gone. They like immediately disappeared. And I felt bad for her, but at the same time, you're a grown-up, theoretically, and your actions have consequences, and you stuck it out, and it stinks that you're going to have to call your parents for help with your rent, but that's what you did. And I was just thinking, like, the next morning, which of those two is going to have the better morning? And I guarantee you it's the kid who didn't get the poster. Because he's going to be like, damn, didn't get that poster. And then move on with his day. Whereas that poor girl is $400. I mean, $400 is a lot of money to just drop all of a sudden on something like a poster. And the funny thing was, to me, right after that, while all that drama was going on, and the guy was like, you have to pay, and the girl, everybody was staring at the girl, and she was crying. The next item up for bid was this awesome, beautiful display case with all of the main characters' wands from the Tri-Wizard Tournament movie, whichever one that was. And if it was the Half-Blood Prince, then I switched the two titles, but it doesn't really matter. And it was great in this beautiful display case, all these different wands. and props from the movies. These would have gone for hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And because no one was paying attention and everybody was focused on the drama of the guy who was all upset he didn't get the poster and the girl who was all upset that she did get the poster, that giant display case, beautiful glass display case and everything went for $150, which is crazy. So yeah, so value is relative. I didn't pay a dime and got all kinds of entertainment value from it. And I've had all sorts of interesting conversations since we settled down, from that. So it was just interesting. It's sort of eye-opening what people are willing to pay for things and at the same time what they're not. I was curious. So anyway, GenCon was awesome. Thanks guys for listening. That's all I've got to say about this topic. Good night.
Achievement unlocked. You've made it to the end of another D6 Generation episode, the podcast whose humor has universally been acclaimed as not too horrible. Please let us know what you thought of the show by either emailing us at info@the d6generation.com or by posting in our official D6G episode thread at the top of the DACA discussions forum on DACA.com. If for some inexplicable reason you actually enjoyed this show, you can help others find out about it by leaving positive reviews on iTunes. See you in 2 weeks. Thanks for listening and happy gaming.
The theme from Total Fangirl comes from the soundtrack of The Last Night on Earth, the zombie game, courtesy of Flying Frog Productions, and is a composition of Mary Beth Magalanes.
So are you guys ready? Here comes the big show. Here we go. If I can find where I put it. Uh-oh. Did I put it away? Here it is.
Again, welcome to the D6 Generation. Where's the show?
All right. It's time. Let's see how loud. This might be loud, so stick with me here.
Brace yourself.
I'm going to get on this real quick, see if it's really loud. Checking my recording here. Oops, sorry.
We recording?
So. Yeah, we are. So.